Introducing PubCoin. PubCoin is the rewards program for pub sports contributors. Regular chat contributors share their play of the day, POD, in the YouTube chat, including the phrase POD in their message. At the end of the week, the amount of units earned are converted into PubCoins. PubCoin can be used as reward points for prizes, shop discounts, and contests.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Mills here, Pub Sports Radio. Do you guys want to challenge the personalities here at Pub Sports Radio? Do you guys think you're better than them at entering in your MMA predictions and picks? Would you want to get paid for it? $100? Here's how you do it, man. You sign up right here at the link below. It's just this easy. PubSportsRadio.com. Enter your email. Pick your weekly picks. That's it. Oh, and you get bonus points if you can predict how they're going to win in what round. Every single week, a new winner's getting crowned. So every Saturday on Pub Sports Radio. So come on and check us out. You can win $100 just for signing up. Only thing you need to do is see if you can beat us here at Pub Sports Radio by entering your UFC predictions and picks weekly. Do it. I dare you. See you guys soon.
Your membership to Gold, you will be automatically entered in every horse race, every Wednesday and Friday. It is time to race horses. We are racing camels today.
Shout out to the Gold members. We're racing in San Antonio immediately here. And we're off. 2 minutes, 74 canals on this racetrack. It's wide. We're racing in San Antonio.
Matt Wally moving forwardly. Jeff Slaughter in the mix as well. And as is Randall Sheffield, who's put that beautiful nose out front.
But it's actually real grass here, Jimmy. Maybe Kentucky bluegrass. Oldie, no! There he goes. Oldie in the lead now. K. Wolf falls back. The horses love it. Sometimes they stop and eat it on the way to the finish line. That's why your horses start so far in the back. Here. Oh, look at Nutflush Allen bursting out here. J-Dub in the mix. Rude Boy up here as well. Jimmy, take it away.
There's Oldie. Oldie is moving to the front. We are past the halfway mark in our 2 mile. And there's Ricky Levy.
Oh my goodness, he's in the mix here. Jimmy, take it home. This is our first dog race ever.
19 seconds left in the horse race here. It's Fernando Mendoza trying to find the wire. 14 seconds left. Can Fernando Mendoza take this home? Here comes Kenny Ken. Kenny Ken wants a piece of the pie. Put his schnoz up front. Ricky Bobby, 9 seconds left. Can Donut Silks make a run? Can Red Small make a run to be $50?
You son of a bitch!
Here comes Tori Coker. Kenny Ken, Smoke and Mirrors, Director 97. Home. That is the way. Here comes Jason Meyer, the Eldorado custodian. Billy Friedrich. Jones one all coming down the advantage.
Coin! Nowhere!
Oh no! Fanatical Jim!
Get 'em, Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting empty, I'm not cracking, we stacking. Chips, all of this, what I want, plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone, I prefer elevated Pub Sports Radio. Time to get educated, Bouquett produce, pay the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call the truth. They're getting slaughtered, can't forget Jeff and Low Baggers in the chat. That's a legal weapon, cause we be, oh yeah, pubbing. We be pubbing!
Right. Say hey everyone, welcome into another edition of Betting with Bouquett. My name is Jose Bouquett. Nice to see everyone bright and early on the chat. Shout out to everyone in here early. Shout out to Razor Sharp Picks, having a 4-0 day here. BJ, Nasty Nate, our guy Justin McKelvey bringing it bright and early. Of course, you got to hit it one time for Justin. Shout out to Stacks.
Stacks, 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 stacks.
All right, shout out to you, Justin Remos. My mic is on. Nice to see you, Rem. I have checked it. Nice to see you, Rich Abram. Yes, rolling out of bed hair here. My girlfriend actually curled my hair yesterday for a Halloween costume we're preparing for, so my hair looks great today, guys. Nice to see everyone in here bright and early. Let me tell you guys how we're going to get this show done. We're going to start off with NHL with Mr. Gokster. We only have one game in the NHL. We'll break down with him. Then we'll roll into NBA with Mr. Billy Brisbane here as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. Billy will be joining us every Wednesday as well. That'll be very fun. I cannot wait to see what my guy Billy does for us in the NBA. We have a full slate. The Celtics dominated last night, so that was a whole lot of fun. And then we finish with a massive college football slate here today. We have a shitload of games to talk about. Connor Mack picks, Wine Time, and Dabby Cab will all be joining me here today. All on the same screen for one game as well. So that'll be very exciting. And we will get all of their opinions on their games here. Wine Time hitting at close to 60% here on the season. Connor Mack, a dominator when it comes to college football. Cannot wait to see when he gets hot here. So let's not dilly-dally anymore. I appreciate you guys joining in bright and early, but let's get into the capping here, and let's bring on our first guest here from Belleville, Ontario, Canada. It's the one, the only Mr. Gokster joining the program. Mr. Gokster, it's nice to see you. I'm glad that we can cap hockey together this season. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. It's good to be on with you guys. 16 games yesterday. That was something else. Didn't finish till I think 2 a.m. on the East Coast, but ended up in the black yesterday. I think a lot of people did. Congrats, guys, on the big day. Good job. One game today, the back-to-back Caps Flyers. We'll be quick. I'm just looking at the AHL. May have a little AHL pick too for you guys.
Yes. Oh, a little AHL. We always love that. Shout out to the Belleville Senators as well. I'm in the Hershey Bears. But we're going to talk about this Flyers Caps game first here, Gokster. Excited to hear your opinion here. So we'll start off with the most important thing. Daily Faceoff has Logan Thompson confirmed for the Washington Capitals here. No confirmation for the Flyers yet. Daily Faceoff is listing Ivan Fedorov unconfirmed, but we'll see how all that shakes out here. Now, Moneyline and market does not matter as much in NHL, according to Jimmy, but I like referencing it just for my sake here. 91% of the bets, 94% of the money on the Washington Capitals here, Gokster. So that's very fascinating. And I will mention Action here as we'll be using line tracking as well now. So Action opened this up, or I should say Action has this opener at plus 126 yesterday. Now we're at plus 120 for the Flyers. It's not much movement. Got down to plus 115 at one point. But admittedly, I looked at it and I was like, wow, that's a little surprising. All that money on the one side. We probably expect it to go the other way. Totals wise, let's talk about that here real quick as well. 90% of the bets and money on the over in this game here. We had a 6.5 yesterday, jump all the way down to a 5.5, go up to 5, go up to 6, and kind of bounce back in between the 6 and the 5.5 here. So 5.5, or excuse me, we're showing 6s at minus 105 here now, Gokster. What do you think about both of these squads here? I'm excited to hear your take.
Well, I'm going to go over last night's game here for you guys. 5-on-5 expected goals in favor of the Washington Capitals last night, not by much. Goaltending wise, though, let's just look at the goalies here quickly. Lindgren, great game, only allowed 1 goal. On the other side, the Flyers just don't have much goaltending, Jose. Carter Hart, last year with the whole debacle there in Team Canada, this team's really searching for a goalie. They're going to have, I'm going to call him Fedorov. I can't even pronounce his name, but a new up-and-coming Russian goalie who doesn't have a lot of starts to his names. 2 starts this year, Jose. He's allowed 6 goals in both games. That's not good. That's not good. And on a back-to-back, team didn't exactly play. They didn't play too bad. Their big names showed up. Konechny was there, played well, 2 shots on net. Lawton had 3. Bobby Brink did okay. They just got outmanned big time, guys. Looking at shots on goal for this Washington team, Carlson had 5, Chychrun had 4, Mangiapane 3, Ovechkin 3, Dubois, Dowd. They're outclassed, that's for sure. They're going to be going on the road. If anything, the Flyers could be live early, but there's going to be goals, in my opinion, here, guys. But these 2 goalies, I know it's a back-to-back. You had the better goaltending going, at least for Washington. Thompson's been okay. Got the numbers on Thompson here, guys. Coming over from Vegas. Played his Vegas Golden Knights his first game, 1-4-2. Next game on the road, 6-5 against the Devils. Now you're playing a weaker Flyers team, right? So what's going on, Justin? Good to see you guys. But yeah, in this game, I'm expecting it to be goals. Feddy, it's a back-to-back. I just don't see the letdown. And without humming and hawing too much for you guys on this Wednesday, I think it's going to be an over, Jose. So what I did is I did the first period over 1.5 with the full game over 5.5 plus 155. Could go both teams to score in the first period. Even Flyers are going to have a better. I don't know if they're going to have a better performance. They got to get more pucks on net. They didn't have enough pucks on net that first game. The line too, I would expect this to be a little higher in Washington's favor. It is only minus 130, maybe that, or minus 140-ish. Maybe that's why people are taking this team, but I would have to lean towards the over, and I wouldn't. And with everyone on Washington, Flyers guys, scrappy, and they're going to be an over team too, Jose, especially with Feddy and net. And then the other side, Logan Thompson. I'm not high on what I've seen from Thompson, guys. So what's up, DC? Yeah, I'm expecting there to be goals. We had 4-1 yesterday. Flyers just, like I said, not enough rubber on net. Expect more rubber on net tonight. And then on the other side, Fedorov or Feddy, we're going to call him. He's very susceptible there. So looks like there'll be some more goals here tonight.
So what was your action again, Gokester?
It was over 1.5, brother.
First period?
Yeah, first period plus same game parlay plus the over full game 5.5, which is plus 155 in this game here. See a lot of goals here tonight. Okay,
well, beautiful. I like that look, Gokester. I like the Flyers here. So if I had to make a move on this game, I'd probably be betting Flyers, but I will not. Don't have the confidence yet to move on NHL action on my own here, but I do like the Flyers here. Market kind of moving their way, but we'll see how it all develops here. Gokester, that's NHL. That's it. It feels like that. We're done already. I'm like, fuck. I want Gokester on screen more with me, Gokester. Let me ask you real quick, Gokester, about those AHL plays, and then I've got to ask you. If you've got any golf here. I don't know if golf's in fucking season right now either, but I want to ask, Gokester. I need more from you, Gokester. Tell me about the AHL. Tell me about some golf. Tell me on anything.
All right, so NHL, AHL right now. Let's bring her up. 3 games going on. You got Cleveland and Rochester going tonight. Pretty 2 bottom feeders right now. It's early season, right? 2-2, 1-3. One game, though, you could take an angle on. Milwaukee's playing on the road against Iowa. Iowa's 0-4, 9 goals to their name, 21 against. Milwaukee 3-1, pretty much a wagon in this league. Don't mind Milwaukee there. But then looking at the golf guys, they're going to Zozo, Jose. They're in Japan. This is their Japanese stint they have in the PGA. So to be honest, we're slowing down a bit on the golf. We're focusing on the hockey. We're focusing on both leagues, AHL and NHL. And then we're just going to crush those markets. And then come January, we got the golf back in action. First tournament's the century there, brother. So, yeah, it's going to be good. I'll have some picks Friday there. I'm going to try and get to the hockey game too. Saturday Leafs in Belleville. So we'll have some AHL picks there going on. But tonight in the NHL should be some goals in that game. And then the AHL, I think Milwaukee should wipe the floor on those Iowa stinking Wild.
All right. Well, beautiful, Gokester. That was a great little segment here, Gokester. I appreciate you coming on with me here. I'm sorry that we can't rush through 40 games like we did yesterday with Loshak, but I'm glad you could join me here, Gokster. Any final words, thoughts? How's the new job going?
Oh, it's great. You know, we got representing the Peterborough Petes here. Hockey Stick Central, man. We're shipping hockey sticks to Japan, to Australia, to Hawaii, you name it. We're quite the hockey stick manufacturer. So check it out, guys. Hockeystickman.com. Like I said, we can ship it to you anywhere around the world. So good little company there. But hockey-wise,
Gokster, what kind of stick should I be looking at? You know,
how much do you weigh? What do you weigh?
Like 140, 150?
So you cut it in half. That's usually the flex is about half of your weight. So
I didn't know. I was about to say, why the fuck does my weight have to do anything with this? But okay.
Lesson. So if you're 140, 145, it means you're about a 70, 75 flex. Now, then there's the P28s, there's the P92s. That's kind of our stick we have. So your flex is going to depend on your weight. Now, some guys, I just found out Brett Burns, he's got like 120 flex or something. Guy does he likes a stiff stick. So there's another guy who has like 150 or something in the league. So yeah, it's interesting. 140, yeah. 140, that's it. Come on, you're not 100 anyway.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna have to fucking go weigh myself. Shit, everyone calling me a fat fuck in the chat right now.
Jeez, I feel fat. I'm like 160 and I'm a skin and bones, but yeah, no, give me a shout there, guys. Reach out on Twitter there, and I can kind of lead you guys. But yeah, hockey, it's in full swing, more than just sticks. But enough about my job, guys. Cash those tickets tonight. Should be a good time. Next week. I just looked at the schedule, Jose. It's split up a lot better. So next time we're going to be out. We got 6 games to look forward to. Day before Halloween too, and then I got 7 with Loshak on Tuesday. So we'll crush those games next week.
All right, beautiful Gokster. We'll see you then. And it seems like I have made a mistake telling people that I weigh about 140-ish pounds. So that is a mistake that I will have learned from, and I will lie, and I will say I'm 170 next time for everyone there. So that is hilarious. All right, let's go to our next guest here. Thank you, Gokster, so much for joining us here. We appreciate you, my guy. Let's go into the association here. We have a full slate in the NBA. And God bless this man for choosing to do this Wednesdays with me. God bless this man, because I do not like betting on the NBA. It is a extremely difficult sport to bet on, I think. I call it the no betting association, but this guest brings it. Props, sides, totals, whatever you need, he's got it, and he's one of the hosts of the Locker Room Talk podcast, which recorded yesterday. Believe it's out already. The one, the only, Billy Brisbane joins the program. Billy, a lot of big stuff going and a huge NBA slate we have.
You're a fraud, man. You wear the Celtics jersey the day after they win. Who's really? I'm not even a Celtics fan, and I had the Larry Bird jersey on yesterday. Man.
Yeah, it was you know what, Billy? I watched my 5 minutes of regular season basketball last night. It was great. I enjoyed it very much. Fun times. Why don't people watch basketball more often if it's like that? Fuck. It was a great time watching the Celtics.
You call it the No Betting Allowed Association. I call it the National Blowout Association, because that was how the games looked like they were going to go last night for a second.
Yeah, it was an ass whooping by the Celtics, and then they decided to stop making threes, which I respect. They're saving it for the next game. I respect that, Boston. But let's get into these games here, Billy. I'm excited to talk about them with you here. A whole lot of games here and a whole lot of action, I assume, coming here. So I cannot wait. And I cannot wait to talk about your 76ers here already resting players. What I thought was a crazy line to begin with here. And I cannot wait to hear your opinion on that one. But we will start with maybe not the sexiest matchup in the world, but God damn it, they were the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Your Indiana Pacers coming back here, 4.5-point favorites on the road here. Very interesting team. I'll quickly talk about some additions, subtractions on these teams as well, and draft picks here. So these breakdowns a little more in depth from your boy here. So who knows? Who knows? All right. So for the Pacers, let's start talking about them.
Addition,
I
subtraction.
could talk about them in the breakdowns. I have all the all season additions in the breakdowns because I don't want to hear you struggle breaking down that shit.
All right, even better. Perfect. Great. I'm glad because I was about to tell you, Brizzy, that the great James Wiseman is now on these Indiana Pacers. Watch out. Watch out. He's only like 24 years old, but this Pacers team, I don't know, Billy. I've gone back and forth thinking about what is this Pacers team going to be this year? Where are they a mini Atlanta Hawks where they have a great Eastern Conference Finals run that turns out maybe a little bit fraudulent?
That's a disrespectful slight to the Pacers.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely is. 1,000% is. I don't know what this team
lit,
is.
Man. Indiana's lit. You talk about a lit-ass franchise. Can you imagine buying the Indiana Pacers and buying the Indiana Fever and look at those two teams, what they did in the past year? I mean, God bless.
Fuck yeah. Is the same owner? Is it the same owner for both?
Same owner.
That guy's living the life right now.
As a tax luxury write-off, so he didn't have to pay as much as taxes, and you end up getting Caden Clark 2 years later.
God bless that, man. Okay, Billy. So here's I found this prop. It might not be available at all books, Billy, but it's definitely a prop I think we should look into. Caitlin Clark appearances on camera in this game over 1.5.
Under.
She's not going to be there?
No, this is in Detroit. I'm about to take this one away. Pistons are looking to put away last season behind after one of the worst records in the league and not getting a top 3 pick. They parted ways with their GM and they hired in 2020 to rebuild the organization. Monty Williams was fired just after one season with the team. He was owed $65 million over the next 5 seasons that they still have to pay out. The Pistons elected to hire JB Bickerstaff, who was the Cleveland Cavs head coach last year, who led them the first back-to-back first-round exits. Cade is still the face of the franchise. Duran dominated last year. Ivy became more of a reliable piece for the future. Their offseason ads were Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley. They all will help their offensive production a lot. The Pacers led the NBA in points per game last year and field goal percentage, finishing second in offensive efficiency. Halliburton got a second straight All-Star appearance. They added Pascal Siakam at the trade deadline. He looked great during the final stretch of the season. I think the key X factor for the Pacers is going to be the return of Benedict Mathurin, who led the bench unit in scoring before his injury in March before the playoff run. For as good of an offensive team as they were last year, they struggled defensively, finishing 4th in points allowed last year, 24th in defensive efficiency. And that's got to be a point of emphasis, something that I don't know is going to be fixable for them. The Pistons will definitely come out inspired to improve their 14-game win season record from last year, but I think it's going to take some time to adjust JB Bickerstaff's new system and meshing on both ends of the floor. The Pacers are returning basically their same exact roster. Last year, the Pistons were not line closer than a +7.5 in a game versus Indiana, and they lost all 3 matchups versus Indiana. The closest line with the Pacers was 9, winning all 4 meetings last year. So, I mean, damn, man. I think we could see a lot of the same shit from last year with this offense get going. I would probably lean towards a team total. If you look at all the wins that they had last year against the Pistons, they scored over 119 points, and that's where their team total is at right now. So I would probably lean towards Pacers team total over 119 and Pacers to win in the over 229. One player prop that really stands out is Tobias Harris, man. Former Philadelphia 76er, former Detroit Pistons that they felt like they didn't want to pay him enough money, but then they bring him back 5 years later and pay him a shitload of money. But Tobias is just a fucking Pacers killer throughout the years, man. He's gone over his point prop line in 10 out of his 10 last head-to-head meetings versus the Indiana Pacers. Even on a new team, I think he'd probably see more fucking shots in this offense than he would in Philadelphia. So Tobias Harris would definitely be a circle for a player prop in this one here.
All right, little Tobias Harris, new location for Tobias. I think he's going to get up some shots too. He's going to put them up in Detroit. So I find that to be very interesting as well. Shout out to Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, that's a pretty wild stat, bro. Over 10 out of 10 last head-to-head meetings versus a basketball team. I mean, maybe you just have have the number. And this is a home game for the Pistons. You know, Tobias is definitely, if there is a game, Tobias is probably going to look decent, and it's probably tonight. He'll probably be one of the higher owned daily fantasy players on FanDuel and DraftKings tonight as well.
I like that look. Tobias Harris there. Look out for him. Billy, anything official, a team total on the money line here?
No, I'm not betting the fucking Pacers and Pistons to start off.
Fair enough. I understand that. How about an even sexier matchup for you, Billy? How about Brooklyn Nets, Atlanta Hawks here? I've listened to a few NBA podcasts, and I've heard about how bad the Brooklyn Nets are going to be. I've heard about people are, Cam Thomas 50-1, NBA leading scorer, et cetera. But this Hawks team, I never know what to make of them, Billy, either, because of Trae Young. I'm not a Trae Young guy. They signed their rookie Jalen Johnson to a big extension as well.
Jalen Johnson last year. He looked really good in the preseason as well.
Yeah, so I was a little surprised by that extension just because I was like, what the fuck? But
he obviously really fucking good in the preseason, like second best player on this team type shit.
Exactly. So that's why that guy earned that contract. I'm very interested to see how he fleshes out that contract. I'll quickly mention here, Action has 79% of the bets and money on the Pacers in that first game. Understandable. For this game here, we'll mention Nets here. Where are you? The Nets, 66% of the bets, 61% of the money on them here. People do not.
You gotta look more of the money for these type of games with these big spreads. You have to look more of the money line action. 94% of the bets and 88% of the handle is on the Atlanta Hawks money line. So it's basically like a pros versus Joes type of game. So like the public is parlaying up the Atlanta Hawks, but the professional bettors are betting the spread on the Brooklyn Nets, and deservedly so. Though I mean, the Nets are coming off a rough season with this roster in full rebuild mode, but they loaded up on draft picks. They added Jordi Fernandez, who was the coach of this. Who was the coach of the bronze medal Canadian basketball team in the FIBA World Cup in 2023. After a play-in exit for the Hawks, they were able to secure the number one fucking pick in the draft, which is fucking wild. And they're running it back with Quinn Snyder coaching. The decision between Trae and Murray was finally made. And I don't know what to expect for this season. I feel like my concerns, to be frank, it's the same exact roster as last year, just without fucking DeJounte Murray. I mean, how much better are they going to really look? These two teams met 4 times last year, and the Nets went 3-1 straight up, and the only loss was a 147-145 overtime loss. While the expectations aren't high for the Nets on the season, I do feel like they do have the blend of right veteran talent. It's not a young core roster. They should be able to score versus this Atlanta defense that ranked 27th in defensive efficiency last year. No way Atlanta should be close to laying double digits at home, on the road, etc. They were one of the worst they were one of the worst home ATS teams in the NBA last year. I feel like if you're betting this game, you got to lean Brooklyn Nets plus 7.5. If you're looking at player props in this game, I would stay away from Nick Claxton. Nick Claxton will probably be on a minutes limit in this game. He got banged up during the preseason. And then on the Atlanta side, I would imagine it's going to be the fucking Trae Young show here. Nobody else is. I mean, it's Trae Young and Jalen Johnson. Nobody else really. But I feel like Clint Capella and Ocheke Okongwu will be just everybody just bites into each other's usage, and there's no reason to play Atlanta Hawks player prop until somebody's out of the lineup here. I feel like the only bet in this game is probably the Brooklyn Nets, or take the over 221.5. Cam Thomas can light up the scoreboard at any time. He has the highest, or the second highest point prop projection in this game. And I know FanDuel has the top point scorer parlay boost that you have going on for this weekend. So if you guys have FanDuel, check out the top point scorer. You can combine 2 top point scorer. This one would probably be like a little bit of a value point scorer. I mean, Cam Thomas doesn't do anything but shoot the basketball. But yes. Ben Simmons looked good in preseason. A little Ben Simmons hype. But I don't think he's going to play in this game tonight, though, to be honest with you. I would say the Nets are past, but I mean, 7.5 feels like a trap line today. That's why this line came down.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Brooklyn Nets for me are pass. Line opened up 7.5, down to 6.5 now. And you mentioned it, more people betting Hawks money line, but 66% of the bet, 61% of the money on the Brooklyn Nets. Quickly, I will mention, shout out to Stacks. He's on the over in this game, 222. Let's run it again for our guy,
definitely do
Stacks.
agree.
So shout out to you, Stacks.
Stacks, 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 stacks.
Stacks won there on the over. Billy agrees with you. I agree with you as well here. I think we
Tony
can
Butcher
roll.
says under probably a play here. My only concerns would be if I don't think Atlanta is going to cover the -7.5 spread, it's probably because they're not playing defense. And shit, man, I could see this game being dumb high scoring for no reason, and then like the Nets end up. I mean, like they went 3-1 straight up against them last year. The Brooklyn Nets were terrible last year. I mean, they started off the first month of the season as one of the best ATS covering teams in the NBA. So I don't know, man. It feels like it seems like if the home team loses, it probably goes over. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like home favorites and unders are usually like the way to go. Like you usually see like the Celtics last night, the home favorite win, cover, and the shit go over. Like that rarely happens.
Okay, well, keep that in your back notes there. Home favorites, under, road dogs, go over there if you think it's going to win. So keep that in your notes there. All right, Billy, let's keep rolling here. Another one. Well, this one's actually a good matchup here. The Orlando Magic, Miami Heat, a battle for this division throughout the whole year, I'm assuming. It's going to be a fun one. Jimmy Butler, motivated this year, which I'm excited to see. Pat Riley calls him out. Doesn't do any bullshit in media day this year, so I'll be very excited to watch that. And the Orlando Magic, half their team went to the Olympics with Germany or the U.S., and they did really well. Both Wagner brothers played well. I was hoping that this team would find a way to get Dennis Schroeder to continue the German vibes. But 1.5-point favorites for the Heat kind of feels light here, Billy. I was shocked to see it. 76% of the bets, 69% of the money on the Miami Heat here. Action has this opening at, let me scroll down here real quick here. We had a 2 opener for Orlando. It got to 2.5 at one point, but comes right back down to 2 here. So it's a fascinating game to me, Billy. One of the more competitive games in a matchup I think we could see throughout the whole season mattering for this playoff push. I will quickly mention the money line here since it's so tight. And 88% of the bets, 84% of the money on the Heat there on the money line. And totals wise, we have 90% of the bets and 87% of the money on the over in this game here. So, Billy, take it away. It's a fun matchup between these two teams.
Yeah, I wonder if Miami has some type of theme night. I got to check their Twitter account. But the off-season transactions and additions for the preview for this game really don't fucking matter, for a lack of better words. It's more the historical trends in this Florida clash that stand out to me. The Heat are 9-0 in their last 9 games versus the Magic at home, and the Heat were 22-9 as favorites at home last year, which is fucking wild because they had a very bad home record last year. They were only 22-19 at home last year, so for a 22-19 home record, they went 22-9 as home favorites last year. So I feel like the odds makers are just like blindly putting a minus number behind the Heat. But I know in my heart of hearts, this game is just like, if you're into like betting games and sweating and stuff like that, this is the game for you. But like I like to bet a basketball game knowing that it's a cigar game. I want to see bench players playing in the fourth quarter and me look it off to my next bet by the fourth quarter. I don't feel
who
that.
likes sweating a bet? No one likes sweating a bet.
I don't feel no, but sometimes you got to sweat the bet. Like sometimes the NFL, you just know like, all right, dude, I'm just gonna have to sweat out this 4 hours. But for this game, this is just a sweat. Like it's Miami or pass. Miami would be the lean. But some of the player prop trends I thought were very interesting in this game. If you watched a lot of the preseason games, in the Olympics, kind of really starting the Olympics, Bam Adebayo is really trying to shoot a lot more 3-pointers than what I feel like the books are projecting. Like his 3-point prop line, it opened up. I don't know what it is right now, but it's over a half at -110. Like he's probably going to shoot 3 attempts tonight at least. The one big emphasis on the offseason coming into this season was Bam Adebayo stretching out the floor and getting more spacing for the shooters for the Miami Heat. And if you're one of those ladder type of people, I mean, you can ladder his 3-point prop up to 2, the plus 350, and he's going to get 3 to 4 attempts. Look at his preseason numbers. Another player prop trend, I don't know how much is going to come through, but it's worth noting. Jaime Jaquez had 19 and 12 points versus the Orlando Magic last year, and it's pretty much the same exact rosters for both teams. So that kind of tells me that Jaquez has a little bit of an edge against the second unit versus the Orlando Magic, and I could definitely see that happening here. One player under, unfortunately, that I'm looking at here is Tyler Hero. I feel like with all the players on the court of Bam, Butler, and Rozier, his usage is definitely going to decline from his usage should definitely decline from what the books are projecting. Like we talked about this yesterday with Loshak about how a lot of these player prop projections are based off of like last season stats and trends rather than their preseason stats and numbers. And as much as I love Tyler Hero and he can fuck you over anytime you bet an under on him just for getting hot in the game, I don't know. This doesn't seem like the best of matchups for him or Franz Wagner. I'll be looking at Franz Wagner and Orlando Magic under 19.5 points. He went under in 20 out of 36 away games last season. And it definitely makes sense in this matchup with the Miami Heat being a top 10 team versus pick and roll ball handlers last year. And there's one person that didn't look good in the preseason. It was definitely Franz Wagner. It definitely looked like he had the tired legs from the Germany run in the Olympics because he shot 8 for 27 in the preseason, 0 for 7 from the 3-point line, and had more turnovers than assists. So, like, I don't know what's up with Franz Wagner, but he has not been looking good.
Yeah, and he hasn't been really shooting since last year either. Last year, his 3-point shooting percentage was not that good, you know? So that's interesting. And by the way, shout out to Joe Tadero. He put in Adebayo over a half 3 at -155. I mean, come on, that feels like good money right there. It's a little juicy, obviously, but over a half, give me one, Bam.
Role player. No, Franz, you gotta let Franz get hot. I think he played way too many minutes in the Olympics for Germany. He like if you watch those Germany games, they did not do as good as they were supposed to do in the Olympics. So all their starters end up playing way more minutes than what they're projecting. It's just that Franz Wagner is the only one that plays for a fucking good NBA team.
Yep. Yeah, and probably the best German player right there with Schroeder. So shout out to both of them here. So Billy, any official action on this one?
Nah, no official action for this one. But if you're betting this game, I feel like you bet Miami live.
Okay. All right, bet Miami live. There's your live looks there. All right, Billy, let's get to the matchup I want to talk about here. Milwaukee Bucks, Philadelphia 76ers. No Paul George and seemingly no Joel Embiid to start this off. I thought 3.5 was short without either one of those players, but obviously we definitely have those theories. You know, star players are out, your role players step up. Opening day at the crib. You know, the Bucks, pretty disappointing team last year, but you heard guy like, you know, Doc complaining all offseason. It's super hard to come into the middle of the season with a different coaching staff. Understandable. He said Dame was out of shape last year because of the trade. Okay, sure. But I'm very interested to see what this Bucks team does. I consider them the second best team in the East still, even with Doc Rivers being a shitty coach. I don't like the Knicks. I don't trust the Knicks at all. They need to prove it to me, I guess, but it's just Giannis. It's just Giannis.
Don't get overcomplicated by opening night. Nobody thought Mikal Bridges would fucking jank up his shot like this,
Yep.
looking like fucking Michael K. Gilchrist. If like what? Mikal Bridges was like shooting like 40% from the 3-point line last year. Whoever the fuck his agent is should be fired. They got him to the Knicks and then made him change his jump shot. I mean, once they figure all that shit out, the Knicks will be fine. You also got to remember Mitchell Robinson was hurt last night. Precious Achiuwa was hurt last night. Those are Cat is not a center in the NBA. He plays power forward.
Agreed. So you're saying Knicks number 2 in the East right now? Well, your opinion, obviously.
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
Cool. So and the Bucks are number 3 then? Where do you think the Bucks are?
To be honest with you, bro, I'll say this, man. The opening night news was really the announcement of Embiid and PG-13 really missing this game. That shifted the betting lines completely for this game. The Sixers open up at -4, and now they're +3.5 underdogs. The offensive production tonight is going to really come down to how efficient Maxey can be as a number 1 option. The Bucks last year, they had a lot of moving parts. With everyone healthy, I do kind of expect this offense to look better, but Middleton being out of this lineup tonight, and with the Sixers' top 2 scorers, I feel like they're writing on the wall here, and everyone's going to bet Milwaukee or pass. But if you remember last year going down the stretch, Milwaukee had to win basketball games, and they were losing basketball games, and we were losing money betting on the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, bro, that shit was ridiculous, bro. I'd never forget that shit. It got to the point where we had to like triple down on the Bucks against like the Orlando Magic on like one of the last games of the regular season. Yeah. I don't trust this Milwaukee Bucks basketball fucking team. Maybe it's a little bit of the bias in me, but I feel like the best look in this game here is obviously you got to be on the Philadelphia 76ers side of the ball here. Joel Embiid, the biggest offseason transaction that the Philadelphia 76ers made was bringing back Andre Drummond. He was a key addition for this offseason. He's the all-time NBA leader in rebound percentage. When Drummond started 10 games last year for the Bulls, he fucking averaged 17.9 rebounds and 29.3 minutes per game for a shitty-ass Bulls roster that we'll talk about. Drummond's preseason lines were pretty ridiculous as well. Played 14 minutes in the first game, 7 rebounds, 24 minutes in the second game, 15 rebounds, 24 minutes in the third game, 11 rebounds, 13 minutes, 9 rebounds, 26 minutes, 20 rebounds. If he plays 25 to 26 minutes, he should definitely go over his rebound prop. The books are scared. The line opened up at 10.5. It's at 13.5, juiced towards the over.
Christ.
His double prop opened up at -130, all the way up to -195. We talked about it earlier about how FanDuel has the profit boost today for top point scorer and top double-double, or not top double-double, double-double parlay, where you could put up to 2 double-double legs together and get a boost on it. And the first leg of my double-double parlay here was Andre Drummond to have a double-double here. That straight was -160 last night when I typed this up, but it's sitting at -195 at the recording of the show. Right?
That's why he bet early. Shout out to you there. Yeah, you know it's hilarious. It is funny that Andre Drummond is going to lead like all-time rebounds per minute or whatever the fuck. Like he just goes out there and just grabs boards.
He could float for 10 points in this matchup, like very easily. He'll probably be one of the highest owned daily fantasy centers on the slate today. So his double-double, I feel like Andre Drummond should have the highest double-double prop in the whole entire card today. Like, or right up there with the studs. I mean, dude grabbed 20 rebounds in the last fucking preseason game. Like, people aren't watching these yesterday proves if you really watch the preseason or not, I feel like. And like, I feel like watching the preseason, Andre Drummond looks like a fucking beast in this offense. This offense in this matchup screams like Andre Drummond's gonna smash. I mean, I'm not bad shitting the Bulls at all. I like the Bulls a lot. We'll talk about the Bulls. I like the Bulls a lot. I'm a big Bulls fan. My brother lives in the city of Chicago.
I didn't know there were so many Bulls fans coming out to defend their team today.
I didn't even really mean to say. I didn't even mean to like sneak diss the Bulls like that. But like this rebound prop line is wild, bro. I think you stay away from the rebound prop line and you just go double-double. I mean, like the rebound prop line, I'm looking at it right now, 14.5 rebounds. Like, damn, man. If you think the Bucks are going to blow out the Sixers in this game, I would bet the under on Andre Drummond's rebounds. But if you think the Sixers are live like I do to win this game, Andre Drummond's definitely getting a double-double. I mean, 14 fucking rebounds. I mean, goddamn, man, you get half of those got to at least be some offensive little putback Jones. I mean, Andre Drummond's getting a double-double today. If you got the FanDuel double-double prop, I talked about it and keep on repeating myself, but use this as the first leg.
Okay, cool. And Kong's mentioned he likes Brook Lopez 3-pointers ladder because
Brook
Drummond's
Lopez
in there.
Definitely stands out. His PRA line is at 17.5. He's going over his PRA line in 7 out of his last 8 meetings versus the Sixers without Middleton versus the Sixers. He's cleared in 4 out of 4 meetings, 21 plus points, rebounds, and assists in all 4 meetings. And he gets the matchup against Andre Drummond, so he probably can just stand around the 3-point line and shoot. And he's gone over in 15 out of 20 away games without Chris Middleton in the lineup. So it sounds like a 16-6 type of stat line, and that would definitely go over 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
Well, let's pray for that double-double, Billy, because I like that look here, and I'm going to try to get on it myself with a little Andre Drummond. Shout out to Andre Drummond there. Let's keep rolling, Billy. We're having a good pace here, and I love your breakdowns as always. I love the props.
Not really, Joey. I feel like Joey asks us any Bucks 3-point player props that I like in a game. Not really, because the ones that you would want to bet on are like Damian Lillard. But I mean, bro, betting 4.5 3-pointers and 3.5 3-pointers, unless the name is Stephen Curry, I'm probably not going to take it.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. And Maxey, by the way, I expect him to have a nice game. Who's
Yeah,
guard
but
him
the
on
one
the
thing
Bucks?
that scares me about Maxey is like I said in the breakdown, how efficient can Maxey be as a number one option? Because like there is games prime examples. Christmas last year, Joel Embiid gets ruled out for the Christmas game. We go down to Miami. Maxey's the number one option, and it's just click, clank, click, clank. He's getting double teamed. He's getting triple teamed. They're like, throw Tobias the fucking ball. Let that motherfucker shoot. And to be honest with you, we ain't got Tobias anymore. I mean, we got Janusz Yabusele from France, from the France national team. He makes his return back to the NBA. He'll probably get some minutes and some burn tonight, but
All right, fair enough. No action for me officially here. Billy, anything for you official?
Yeah, Andre Drummond, double-double here, first leg of the double-double parlay.
All right, Drummond double parlay incoming here. Let's roll to game 2, or I guess our next game, I should say, not 2. Cleveland-Toronto here. So all I've heard, Billy, preseason, the Toronto Raptors are going to be horrid this year. They're going to be horrid. And I've, again, heard sneaky. Cleveland Cavaliers, not a bad team. They put together their whole team again. They re-signed Donovan Mitchell. He's happy. New coach. Are they going to finally get more out of Evan Mobley? 6.5 on the road is kind of scary, obviously, but it is the Raptors, as we have been saying. So spread here in markets, 58% of the bets, 58 and 53% of the money on the Raptors here. Pretty surprising. People are going to bet the Raptors already. A lot of people betting the over, 83%, 85% of the money here as well. I'm interested to see what you think about this game, Billy. Take it away.
Yeah, laying chalk numbers on the road is not my favorite thing to do in the NBA, but fuck, man, that just seems like the type of NBA card that we have today on today's slate. Cleveland did make some massive changes with the coaching, with Kenny Atkinson becoming the head coach, but a quiet all season. Other than that, they added Jacob Gilliard, Jules Bernard, JT Thor, Marcus Morris Sr., Isaiah Mobley, and Jalen Tyson from California. All those players are definitely not even, but they really hit the rotation like that. I don't see the defensive identity of this team changing too much. They only gave up 110 points per game last year, and that's really where the pillar of this team is the defense. They finished 20th in points per scored per game, but they finished in 8th in team assists. So very efficient offense. The Raptors are very efficient offense when their defense is getting their offense going. So in the playoffs, when we watched the Cavs play the Celtics and they didn't get their defense going, it looked like a shit show. But When they can get their defense going in the transition and stuff like that, their offense looks a lot better. No Max Strus for this Cavaliers team as well that we'll talk about as well. The Raptors are a very young team, and they're trying to find their core players for the future to add to the roster. Barrett and Brown are both on the injury report. I don't think they're going to play in this game. That doesn't really sound good. Barnes, Puddle, quickly. Grady Dick, that's really their team that they're building around. They added Jacoby Walker, Jonathan Mongbo, and Jaleel Sneed from the draft. I mean, the Raptors were really bad offensively and defensively last year. This line opened at 3.5 and it went to 6. I don't feel like it's short enough, to be honest with you, especially with some of the Raptor studs missing from this game. I'm going to use the Cavs as the first leg of a parlay here. And I also have Donovan Mitchell to be the top point scorer in this game as a first leg of a top point scorer parlay.
All right. What odds are you getting for that kind of stuff out of curiosity? Is he minus money?
For top point scorer in this game, he's plus 160.
Interesting. Yeah, I see. I don't know these markets as well, so I am curious about that stuff here. That's interesting. Are there ever any minus top point scorer props? Like, is Curry like a top point scorer prop kind of guy, like that?
Curry's is at plus 110 in that game. I feel like with the top point scorer props, it really depends on who's in the game specifically. Yeah. So if it's like the Sixers versus the Wizards, Joel Embiid might be a little minus 220 on that top point scorer prop.
That makes sense. Okay, cool. All right.
Well, but if it's like the Celtics tomorrow playing against the Wizards with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown both being on the same team, probably be like plus 110, plus 175 difference between the two. So it all depends on like the team and the player. So like the Lakers are a prime example. You'll really always get a top point scorer prop in their games because Anthony Davis and LeBron both play for the same team.
Yeah. Yeah. And Justin McKelvey mentioning AD top scorer plus 250 last night put me where I needed to be. So I get that. Shout out to you, Justin. Raptors team total under for top set there. Robert Franklin like Scotty Barnes, rebounds and assists there, 13.5. I saw someone else, my dude, also loved the Scotty Barnes rebounds here as well, saying he's going to make him a lot of money this year. And I'll mention
Jermaine notes a little bit about the historical trends about these two teams. Their last couple of meetings. I only see Toronto winning one game in Toronto, and that was fucking New Year's. I mean, who plays basketball on New Year's? On New Year's Day, the Cleveland Cavaliers lost 124-121. Can you imagine going to New Year's to Canada? I can't imagine. You're probably getting fucked up. The other game that they played was a month later in Toronto, and they blew them out 119-95. I mean, I don't know what score are you looking at.
Yeah, I know. I think this is Cavs or nothing for me, and I feel like that's going to be the case for a lot of Raptors.
But I really think if you're a parlay type of person, I really think this could be the first leg of like the East Coast parlay because like you got to think. Usually we don't like betting road teams coming into Toronto because of the travel situation. Bro, it's the first game of the season. How much is the travel situation really being accounted for in this betting line? This betting line should be like 8.5, 9.5 points. Like the Cleveland Cavaliers, I mean, I get it. They're not no world-beating team in the Eastern Conference, but
I think they'll be a good regular season team.
This Toronto Raptors basketball team is wild. I was trying to believe it wasn't that bad, but this team that they're putting out for opening night is, I think, a disrespect to the fans that pay money for season tickets. Like, bro, that's wild.
Shout out to you, Bo Jackson. I think Bo Jackson, our chat, has season tickets for these Raptors as well. So God bless you, Bo Jackson, as you're paying for those.
You don't even get RJ Barrett. Wouldn't you be going to the Raptors game for the Canadian himself? RJ Barrett, no RJ Barrett, no Kelly Olynyk, no Bruce Brown. I mean, Bruce Brown's not what anybody's really showing up to see, but I mean, Kelly Olynyk and RJ Barrett, the two Canadians aren't even playing in this game. Like, bro, it's Cleveland or pass, man. And Donovan Mitchell, top point scorer prop in this game. Hopefully, Emmanuel quickly doesn't do some bullshit, but I think this game could be a blowout. And if this game's a blowout, then I think Donovan Mitchell could run away with the top point scorer problem. We don't even see the starters really play a lot of the fourth quarter. That's my thought process behind this one. Because if you look at the player prop history for Donovan Mitchell in this game, he attempted the league high 3-pointers last year with over 8 3-pointers attempted in the game in games. Toronto ranked 107. I mean, not 107. They allowed 117 points per game, which ranked 27th in the NBA, and allowed 21.8 points per game to the shooting guard position, which is terrible. This screams like, and no Max Strus in the lineup for the Cavaliers, which is huge for shot attempts. Yo, Donovan Mitchell is about to, like, if you guys think the Raptors are going to compete, you better throw Donovan Mitchell in that parlay, because Donovan Mitchell is about to shoot the shit out of the basketball in this game tonight.
All right, well, beautiful. I like that look, Billy, and I'll quickly mention one more time, stacks number 1 technically here, but number 2 that we've talked about. Our guy is on the Cavaliers -6, and it looks like we agree with him. So shout out to you, Justin, again.
Stacks, 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 stacks.
We'll keep it rolling here. Shout out to you, Justin. Charlotte, Houston. Now, Billy, I saw a lot of lines, and I was surprised at how short they were. This is one where I was a little surprised how long it was. You know, I get it. Excuse me, I get it. Charlotte Hornets are not that good. LaMelo Ball, not a player that's probably a winning player. But, you know, I think these Hornets aren't that bad. I'd love to hear your opinion here, Billy. Let me give you the market here real quick. We've got 69% of the bets, 73% of the money on the Rockets here, 77% of the bets, and 70% of the money on the over in this game. Line movement in it. So let's scroll here. We went a 7.5 opener, got down to 7, even got down to 6.5 at one point, but Rockets right back up 7.5, -110 here. Yeah, I just thought this line was a little far, but I'd love to hear your opinion on this one, Billy.
Yeah, the Rockets had a promising season last year with the playoff push during the end of the season that didn't really go their way, but they got a lot better during the offseason, adding Reed Shepherd, who's by far, who's by far the best shooter in this draft class. And that hits a huge need for this team. Sengun is coming off a career high year. Jalen Green's coming into his own in the preseason with core vet wing depth of Dylan Brooks, Tari Easton's back. Cam Whitmore looked great in the summer league. Amin Thompson, Jabari Smith. I mean, this is definitely a team to watch. They had a quieter preseason, but the future is very bright in Houston. For the Hornets, it's really yet to be determined what to expect for them. They really need to be healthy. This team will go as far as LaMelo will take them, and that's a statement because he definitely looked amazing during the preseason, though. Brandon Miller is one of the better picks of last year's draft class. There was some optimism. Definitely one of the more, I would say, entertaining young teams for player props. They're going to be in a lot of high-scoring games, but maybe not just this one tonight. They're all-season additions of Josh Green and Seth Curry and French draft pick Saloon, which was one of the more interesting draft picks. We all thought he was going to fall to the Spurs because him and Wemby have the same management company, but he ended up getting drafted 5th to the Hornets, and kind of an overdraft to everybody kind of thought on draft night, but he looked fucking great in the preseason. He averaged 12 points per game, over 7 rebounds in 28 minutes of action, while shooting 40% from the 3-point line, which is wild for a rookie. The Rockets have the same core roster returning from last year, while the Hornets will have some fun games with LaMelo in the lineup this year. This is just a hard spot to start off the season, as the Rockets were one of the best home teams in the association last year. They went 27-14 straight up. They lost their home opener versus Golden State last year, and then they proceeded to basically not to lose another home game for like 3 months. The total's high, but I like Houston and under here. Houston's the second leg of this 2-leg parlay. I got Cleveland Cavaliers, the Houston Rockets -117. I mean, these books are giving you got to put 2 legs together for a parlay. Well, I guess some parlay built today. I'll take the 2-leg parlay here. I'll be a chalk donkey. I'll lay the points here with Houston. I think Houston's just gonna win this game. Like 7.5 points, it does feel like a lot, but there's definitely a scenario where Houston routes Charlotte Hornets off the basketball court. The Rockets have the right type of defensive wing depth to really contain the Charlotte Hornets' main scorers. LaMelo Ball, not in the best of matchups, despite his daily fantasy projection tonight. Low key, I think the Houston Rockets are like my favorite play of the slate tonight. It's a little bit like public, but like, man, like the Rockets were really like for the NBA junkies that know the Rockets at the crib, man. We was really making money on them for like 3 to 4 months, and it was like really some low guy shit. Like we weren't even playing like we're paying like -5.5, -6 type lines, and yeah, this is one of the public spots that I'm gonna have to indulge in here. I like the Rockets.
All right. Oh, look at that. Chalk Donkey Billy here. Parlaying together. I like that. I like that. You know, we have the Taint play of the day. We have Stacks. We have Kong Smash. I mean, the Chalk Donkey has some legs. The Chalk Donkey play of the day has some legs, Billy. I like that look. See, I think it might be too much, but you're the expert here, so I trust you over my opinion. And shout out to Ime Udoka as well.
But this kind of sets up perfect where, like, we don't really talk about this too much, but reality is, with betting sometimes with a parlay or the way parlays are set up, you want to have your last leg to be a big price tag so you can hedge the other side. So, like, for example, Locker Room Podcast this week, we lost our core on the base. The underdog on the other side was plus 450. We were on the show, and Big Show was making fun of me and Mills for hedging the other side. I'm like, bro, I'd be stupid not to bet fucking $50 and get back my money for the fucking parlays that I have 7 connected with fucking Kyler Phillips in right now and not bet this underdog. And I feel like this live line is going to be sitting around like plus 250 for the Hornets. Like it would be an easy hedge opportunity if the Rockets are going to fuck around in this game. But I like the Rockets a lot here in this spot.
Okay, cool. I like that. Let's roll on here to everyone's favorite team in the chat now. Your Chicago
Yeah, much great better
Bulls.
too, Wager Detective. Is just the books. All these books are giving these fucking promos for these parlays today because it's the first day of the season.
Yes. No, and yeah, I totally get it. 2 leg parlays, I can live with as well. Bulls Pelicans, again, everyone's favorite team, the Chicago Bulls in the chat. Lonzo Ball returns. But what else is there to be excited about if you're a Bulls fan here, Billy? I mean, at least it seems like I saw that Zion had an illness yesterday. You can let us know more about that. I don't expect him to play in this game. If he did, that would be awesome. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one, Billy. It's an interesting game here. Marketed it quickly. 73% of the bets and money on the Bulls here. Popular dog. And for the total, we're going over as for all of these games so far. 83% of the bets, 78% of the money on them here. And I'll quickly mention that Action had these openers at, let me scroll down and find it here. I'll start with the total first because total, we started at 226.5 yesterday. It got up to 227.5 and came right back down to 226.5. And for the total in this one, 7.5 opener down to 6.5 here. So what are you thinking about the Bulls?
Yeah, I love the all-season moves that Chicago made, keeping Levine and Ball and drafting Montas Buzelis and company, getting Josh Giddey right before the season. It's not popular from the public, but they got a lot better and a lot deeper from last year. The biggest difference for the Bulls is going to be the pace of play. They're one of the slowest teams in the NBA last year and a bottom 5 team in just 3-pointer attempts and makes last year. New Orleans definitely felt the pressure of their play-in exit last year by adding DeJounte Murray to their core group over the all seasons. But my question comes in the front court for this Pelicans team. Zion's now playing the center position with Joe Val being gone. I think their defensive numbers from last year were way too high. They only allowed 110 points per game, which was 8th in the NBA. I think their defense is going to struggle. They allowed a near league high assists per game, which is wild. If the Bulls pick up their pace of play like I do expect, they're going to get it out in transition. They have the rebounding edge as well. I'm leaning towards Chicago plus 7.5 to over 223. I don't trust this Pelicans rim protection right now heading into this season. This is the second leg of the double-double parlay as well. Nikolai Vucevic and Andre Drummond both to record double-doubles here. I got to pull up the odds on that.
Shout out to
I don't
Vooch.
want to.
Yeah,
But I feel like Vooch is in a prime matchup in this one. Like Zion's not about to guard Vooch. The Pelicans have a lot of questions about their rotational pieces. They have no Joe Val. Trey Murphy's not coming off the bench to save them in this game. Like some of they have like this, I forget the dude's name off the top of my head, but he was from the Euro League. He's their like backup small forward. Matt Ryan, former fucking Uber driver that ended up hitting the fucking Lakers game-winning shot when the Lakers were dog shit a couple years ago. He's probably going to get some minutes as well. The two-leg double-double parlay was plus 228 on FanDuel of Andre Drummond and Nikolai Vucevic, both to record a double-double.
So who are the Pelicans starting at center if it's not Zion? Zion is not a big
It's
lad.
Zion is starting at center. Bro, the tallest Pelicans player in their front court is like 6'7", bro. That's wild, bro. Vucevic.
That's crazy.
Like Vucevic could fucking raise his hand and basically grab a rebound.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's gonna be flipping hook shots over Zion all day. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, I like the Bulls in that aspect as well.
Am I down on Matas? I'm high on Matas, but you gotta remember Matas was one of the youngest players in the draft class. I don't think he's gonna be really playing that amount of minutes in the beginning part of the season. Like he'll play, but like Matas Buzella season is like March when we're all linking up for Papapalooza and it's like the end of the year and we're seeing all these like rookies playing a bunch of minutes and shit like that. There will be Matas Buzella season. He's one of my favorite players out of the draft class, but just not on opening night. Not on opening night. On opening night tonight, Nikolai Vucevic is about to eat against his front court. So it's like sometimes in betting for basketball, the player matchups are so bright day clear. It's like, why do I even really want to be betting plus 7.5 with the Bulls if I think if the Bulls are going to cover the spread and Nikolai Vucevic is going to have a good game, I would look at Vuce props.
I agree. I mean, and by the way, RotoWire has Herb Jones right now at center for the Pelicans, just in case, I guess, Zion isn't playing. That's still horrid. That's a little boy right there compared to big-ass Vooch. He's going to throw his shoulder through him. And Joseph Gomez saying Ingram is a decent December. My fucking ass, he's going to get put through a table.
Come on, bro. Herbert Jones is like a shooting guard in college.
Yeah, like he's not a big lad. I agree with you wholeheartedly here. This is just a size just way too big for them here. So I'm definitely going to keep that on my radar. Any good center against the Pelicans, just take their props in some form or fashion. It doesn't even have to be a good center, I guess. Any fucking big center, just take their props.
You can't go any center. You can't go any center because what's going to happen in Pelicans games is these games are just going to go super fucking small where like the other team is like, hey, you don't want to put in the center? We're going to put in our point guards and shit. But for the Bulls to be competitive in any basketball game, I mean, this team runs through Nikolai Vucevic's post moves. This is like his Monterrey national team, but on like an NBA scale. Like if you ever watch Monterrey play his international team, it's like every play is like Nikolai Vucevic in the post.
All right, I'm excited to watch this game now. I think I might have a piece of the Bulls here, ATS or something. I'm gonna have the Bulls something on my card. I'll tell you.
I would stay away. I would stay away from the unders, Jermaine. The biggest surprise that you're gonna see from the Bulls team is this was one of the slowest teams in the league last year and a bottom 5 in attempts and makes. It's the year 2024. Look at the Boston Celtics last night. Nobody's shooting fucking twos unless they're layups. It's layups and three-pointers in the NBA nowadays. It's a copycat league, and the Bulls haven't really thought about that until this offseason, and now they're going to get out in transition, and the Pelicans allowed a league-high assists per game. So if you allow a league-high assist per game, that means the other team is getting out in transition against you. So that makes all the sense of why this game could go over and why the odds are so high for the over.
Okay, let's keep it rolling here. We have 3 more games left before we jump into college football here. We appreciate you guys watching the breakdowns, etc., etc. And BJ agrees with us. Pelicans too small. I agree. Memphis Grizzlies, Utah Jazz here. Billy, if there was one team that I was high on, and I'm sure a shitload of people are high on coming into this season, it's the Grizzlies. I think they'll be the surprise team. Surprise in quotation because they just weren't there last year. Obviously Ja is back from his suspension. Marcus Smart. They've got Zach Edey, which I find fascinating to see if he's going to be a good NBA player or if they're just going to pick and roll him to death. I find all that interesting. Utah Jazz are a decent squad, however, which is obviously the worrying factor here. If it was, Grizzlies, Wizards, I feel much better about taking the Grizzlies here. But Utah's not bad. They've got a good coach, and I'm a little worried about that aspect. So I'm glad that you're here to break this down with us, Billy. Markets in this game for Los Grizzlies, 42% of the bets, 43% of the money on Memphis here. So 58 and 57 on Utah. And we have totals wise here, 79% of the bets and money on the over. I will mention this is a semi-close money line. 76% of the bets, 84% of the money on Memphis when it comes to the money line there. So that is fascinating. We had this line open up at a 3. Now it's a 2.5 here for Memphis. And totals wise, 229 down to 229, 228.5, excuse me there. Money line, I'll quickly mention here as well that this Memphis line has gone from minus 151 to minus 142. So maybe today's not the day for the Memphis Grizzlies. The market kind of sketching me out a bit, Billy, but I'd love to hear your take on Utah Grizzlies here.
Yeah, the expectations were low for the Jazz as they had their second worst record in franchise history since the 2013-2014 season last year. It's pretty much the same roster. They resigned Lauri Markkanen, Colin Sexton, Clarkson, and Collins. Their additions were they added Isaiah Collier through the draft. He's not playing tonight. And good old Mormon. Do you ever hear about that Mormon story about Filipkowski?
Yes, I did. He was basically groomed to play for the Utah Jazz. Yeah.
Wild, bro. Wild. No, basically his childhood babysitter basically groomed him to basically be her husband.
So wild, weird. So weird.
Weirdest wild story. But that doesn't really play into the breakdown. But still unknown how much Patty Mills and Sevi Mikhailiuk will be playing from their all-season additions. Their defense was brutal last year, though. They allowed the second most points per game and a league-high 14.8 3-pointers per game. Throw everything out for Memphis last year. This is one of the teams that I'm really high on coming into the season. They added Zach Edey in the draft, which I wasn't high on Zach Edey, but if there was a landing spot for Zach Edey to fucking look good, it's going to be in Memphis, especially with Adams being gone. I expect to see a very condensed player rotation tonight for the Grizzlies. The reason why you see this line coming down is because Jaren Jackson Jr. is out, Vince Williams is out, Gigi Jackson is out, and Cam Spencer from Connecticut, one of their rookies, is out as well. But as long as John Morant's in the lineup, I kind of like Memphis. The travel situation I feel like is being accounted for in the betting line, but it's altitude and all that. But this is the first game of the season. I feel like the travel spots are less worrisome, but I really like the player props in this game. The player props just stand out to me in this game. You can go Santi Aldama. If you look at projections, Santi Aldama is going to look really good. If you're playing daily fantasy tonight, you're probably going to end up playing Santi Aldama. His point props at 8.5, 10 plus points in 3 out of his last 4 meetings versus the Jazz. But fuck the bullshit, bro. This is just gut feel. If we saw Zach Edey 6-7 months ago during that college basketball run at a point prop of fucking 10 points, that shit would be at minus gazillion 50,000. I get it. It's the NBA. It's a transition. But the combination of him and Ja is just going to go along together great, man, especially with no Triple J in the lineup. This is a great spot for Zach Edey to start off the year well. He had a very strong preseason, 12 points per game, on 20 minutes per game. This is a great matchup as well to start the year. The Jazz have been terrible defending centers last year. They were 5th most points per game to the center position. I like Zach Edey here, 10 plus points at -180 at Bet365 here. I think Zach Edey can eat in this one. This is a couple of Ja Morant alley-oops, a couple of offensive rebounds. Wow, man. Give it a month, man. That Zach Edey line should be at like 15.5 points, man. Just from betting a lot of college basketball player props, bro, Zach Edey's point prop line would be in like the 22s, 20. He would have the highest point prop line of like 84 game college basketball slate. So like, I get it. It's the NBA. It's a transition, different spot, but I got to go Edey 10 plus points here, -180. I like it more than the rebounds. I feel like Zach Edey's a scorer.
Agreed. Billy, do me a favor and refresh your browser because you are frozen on screen, but it is very funny. We heard you perfectly in the breakdown, but refresh your browser real quick so we can see that lovely face of yours again.
Is it better?
No, you're frozen as fuck. You're frozen as fuck. We can hear you perfectly, though. That is what makes it hilarious here. So Billy will be back in a second. I agree. I will also mention Zach Edey, probably the rookie of the year. Probably rookie of the year for me. So I agree, and I like that look a lot from Billy. It's obviously -180, so maybe if you can move the points up a little bit, you can get a better price or throw in a parlay like we've been mentioning there. All right, let's go to our second to last game here. We've got 2 games left. Thank you guys all for hanging in here. We have a college football coming up next. Wine-Tyne Dabby and Connor Mack will join us here on all those games. So right now we've got Phoenix Suns and the Los Angeles Clippers. And admittedly, 90% of the reason why I want to watch this basketball game is because I want to see the Clippers' new stadium. I want to see the Clippers' new stadium. That's why everyone's going to this game. We're not even going to get Kawhi Leonard in this game. And it's just going to be the James Harden show, I guess. I don't think the Clippers are a playoff team this year. I don't think they're... Excuse me?
Can we flip to Golden State, Portland?
Oh, sure. I'm very interested.
To be honest with you, what it probably is I have too many tabs open on the split screen, and I've been scrolling up and down to follow the rotation rather than
totally understand. I totally understand. So Golden State, Portland here then. Obviously, this is a weird Warriors team now with no Clay. You know, we've got Draymond and Curry, and that's kind of it. So I'm fascinated, but Portland is probably just as horrific. They keep waiting for Rob Williams to be healthy, and spoiler alert for everyone that doesn't know, Rob Williams will never be healthy. That is just his curse in life, apparently. Market in this game reflects how much people love the Warriors, I'll tell you that. 81% of the bets, 90% of the money, on the Warriors in this game against the spread here. For the total, for the spread opener, we had a 6 go down to 5.5 and come right back up to 6, which I think is fascinating there. But man, betting the Portland Trailblazers night 1 with Scoot Henderson being the biggest bust of the year last year, and I thought he was going to be good. I think he's still going to be good.
No, he played decent. He played decent last year. He didn't suck. His shooting percentage, but he actually played decent though.
So is he going? The real question is he going to play better? Because that's the Trailblazers' ticket here to be competitive in this game. But I don't know, Billy. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Not at all. The big three of Curry, Clay, and Dre were finally broken up over the all season, and the Warriors are kind of gambling on their talent, level production. Their talent development has been historically good, and that's what they're buying into here. Moses Moody just got the extension. Brandon Posmitsky is going to see a key rotational piece this year. Jonathan Kuminga was their leading preseason scorer last year, and they added some affordable veterans as well that were very low cost. Kyle Anderson fits this team very well. Buddy Hield as well from the Indiana Pacers. D'Anthony Melton from the Philadelphia 76ers to add some depth. While they're not big name players, they're definitely productive pieces with Stephen Curry. Portland's in the midst of another rebuild season with life after Damian Lillard. It's been tough to see the upside of this team with their two stars being DeAndre Ayton and Jeremy Grant. and Simons and Sharp and Scoot in the backcourt. They added Denny Avila to help the shooting and Donovan Clingham for the future. It feels like the first half of the season will kind of be showcasing some of their veterans to kind of increase their trade value, to kind of dump them for the trade deadline. I expect the Warriors defense to look better getting rid of Clay and fucking 40-year-old Chris Paul, but some of Portland's offensive production still left to be desired. There's a lot of points to be laying with the Golden State Warriors. This is the second leg of the top point scorer parlay here. Top point scorer parlay was Donovan Mitchell, Steph Curry, 10-12.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. What was the price again?
10-12.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, who else is going to have a chance at the... What is Curry in this game, out of curiosity? Curry minus 120?
No, plus 110 straight.
Oh, my God.
Point prop lines, 27.5. The next closest one is like 22, 23. So it's like
zero. Who the fuck on
the Warriors? You got to bet Curry to be a top point scorer in this game.
Yeah, that makes no fucking sense. What? Who the fuck on the Trailblazers is going to keep up with Curry's points? Why? I mean,
I think it's one of the better, like, just like if you got some money in your pocket and you're rolling around and it's 10 o'clock at night and you're looking at the last couple games in the night. I do like that Steph Curry top point scorer at plus 110. It's a little bit chalky, but fuck it. Would you rather parlay the Warriors at like minus 300 something or take Steph Curry at plus 110 to be a top point scorer? If the Warriors blow out the Portland Trailblazers, probably because Curry had a fucking good game.
I agreed. I'm going to move on that. Honestly, and I think that will probably be my first official NBA play of the season there. So I love that look, Billy. Okay, so last game, Phoenix Clippers here. I saw our guy BJ dropping that he's on Suns money line there. He got it in early. Now I'm sure we're gonna have to parlay that money line if we want some of that action. I mean, again, like the Clippers are gonna be horrible this year, in my opinion. You're gonna let fucking James Harden run this team? I don't know, man. I don't know. I've heard a lot of hype about the Suns here, Billy, but I'm very interested to see what you have to think about this game and what you think about these teams overall. 52% of the money, 52% of the bets, 64% of the money on the Suns here. And this line has seemingly shot up. So I can see why, BJ, you got in early and you took money line here for sure. This line was a 4.5 according to Action, but that was yesterday. So I'm sure this was a lot lower and is now a 5 now, Billy. What do you think about this last game here?
Shouts to Call Clips. He says math isn't mathing. You got to check out FanDuel today, bro. No bullshit, bro. A 50% profit boost on a top point scorer parlay is fucking nuts, bro. You basically is doubling any fucking odds that you're betting. So like if you put 2 point scorers together, it's doubling the odds. It's wild, bro. You got to take advantage of it. And then the double parlay was like a 30% profit boost. So Kong, if you're like everybody else in the chat, you got to check out those profit boosts at FanDuel. And it's good money that you can lay on it too, bro. It's like the double parlay max was $100 and the top point scorer parlay was max $50. And there's a lot of good profit boosts going around the books like BetMGM, FanDuel, BetRivers, and stuff like that. So make sure you sign into your books and check out what your books are giving you, because you would be fucking shocked. Like I looked at it last night at like 2-3 a.m. and I was like, wow, this is pretty wild. Like it kind of changed my whole entire way I was thinking about betting the card, because it's just like I'm just gonna take advantage of that shit. If you're gonna give me free money, I'll take advantage of it.
Agreed. I mean, I think that's crazy as well, but fucking bet it. And then if you're going to take their money, Billy. So shout out to you. Did you have any thoughts on this last game here? I mean, I agree. I think the Suns might be the leg of a parlay.
No, I wouldn't even want to bet the Suns. I feel like some of the ATS Suns records were just puzzling last year, bro. They went 35, 49, and 2 ATS, some of the most erratic form I've ever seen. It was the point of emphasis. I feel like the Suns cannot let these easy games get away from them with the stacked Western Conference this year. The Clippers, hot take, are definitely about to tank this season. Going into a new arena, BG out of there. Leonard is out tonight. They're best offseason addition was Derek Jones Jr. And I don't think that does anything for them. And it's not 2014 with James Harden being the star player of their team. I mean, the Clippers have the home court advantage, but this could be a look ahead spot. The Suns play the Lakers Friday night in LA. This is the first of the LA back-to-back. This is just a pass for me from a spread perspective. I lean towards the Suns. Like, if some of these shits hit and I'm rolling into the night and I just got some fuck you money, yeah, I'll probably be betting the Suns live. But I don't know, man. Like, the Suns lost me so many money in spots that I was thinking, no way the Suns can lose this basketball game. And this is the ESPN basketball game as well. I mean, yesterday was the most fucking square public card I've ever seen to start off the NBA season.
Yeah.
The Celtics and the Lakers both win. I mean, people were bathing in money. This could be a I like Kevin Porter Jr. though for the LA Clippers. He was actually one of the other all season additions. I got to check out what his player props are sitting at, but he had that situation with the Rockets it was a couple years ago. I don't know if you remember. Basically, the coach said something to him, and he smacked the like food out of the hand of the coach. It was like trying to like swing on him, and he basically got like banned from the NBA for like a year and a half. And then he went overseas to like Greek, and like he was just wrecking up the professional league so much. It was just like, all right, dude, you got to put this dude back in the NBA. And he ended up falling on the Clippers. That could be a point prop to look at tonight. I feel like regardless of how this game goes, he's going to play minutes in this game tonight. They're going to have to get some looks. And he's probably the only other person on this team that can create their own shot besides James Harden.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I agree with you there at the very least, especially that last point. Who else is going to make their own shot besides Harden? I'll guarantee you this, Billy. There is no more excited basketball player to start this season than James Harden. He gets his own team again after like 2 years of being a role player. He's gonna go back to doing his thing. He's gonna feel great about himself. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if people were loving some Harden props as well today. But Billy, let's recap your action here on the first official day, or I guess second official day of the NBA season. I appreciate you breaking these games down for me. Thank you for calling me out on my bullshit. I appreciate that as well, because you're the NBA expert here. So go ahead.
Yeah, we'll leave the profit boost off the official for the tracking, because I feel like that is kind of jank for season numbers and shit like that. So we'll leave the two profit boost off, and we'll go Cleveland Cavaliers money line, Houston Rockets money line to leg parlay -101, and Zach Edey to score 10 plus points -180. Bet365 as the two officials here. But make sure you sign to your books, because I got the double parlay, Andre Drummond, Nikolai Vucevic, that was +228. And then the fucking top point scorer one, Donovan Mitchell, Steph Curry, 10-12. Yeah, you're probably not getting those odds on those ones anymore, but check it through your books and see what your books have for boost and stuff like that. And have a good day. Shouts to Wine Time. Wine Time's about to get the college football week started here. He's been money in the fucking bank. And I'm glad to get the notebook out and take some notes for these games coming up.
Well, beautiful, Billy. Thank you so much for joining us here. Don't forget, Locker Room Podcast. Huge UFC week this week, right? Huge.
Yeah, huge UFC week. UFC 308. Ilya Topuria versus Max Holloway. Early card on UFC. Starts at 10 o'clock in the morning for the East Coasters. You can do the time difference if you live in a different time area. But it's going to be a banger this weekend, Locker Room Podcast. And shouts to Mills. Mills has been no bullshit. No bullshit. I'll give flowers where flowers are due. Mills was on a fucking run, bro. He called like 3 fucking plus like 300 underdogs last week. His pick dog fucking MMA fucking premium picks like all swept. And like he's doing the podcast early in the week. And you're basically getting his premiums for free, so you got to tune in. Mills is on a heater right now. So it was a good little podcast for this week.
Beautiful. Thank you, Billy, as always, for joining me here. I appreciate you, my guy, and we will have Billy on Wednesdays throughout the year. So God bless him. And thank you, Billy, for joining me here. Now, we have a large college football slate because I tell my guests, just send me as many games as you want to talk about because I want the people to know your best bets here. I want them to know, especially when you've been hitting almost 60% this season in college football. Domination on the board. It is, again, I will continue to say this because it just makes me laugh. It might not make anyone else laugh, but I am just fascinated by this person's refusal to let the Pac-12 die. It is the Pac-12 king himself. Wine Time Sports joins the program. Wine, it's nice to see you. We have a big slate of games to talk about. I'm excited. We even have a game where all three of our college football cappers are going to be on screen. I cannot wait. Wine, how are you doing?
Jose, my guy, going to be here with you again on a Wednesday, my guy. Yeah, ready to cash these tickets, man. We had a college football play yesterday. I gave out FIU plus 5.5. We cashed that. They lost.
How easy was that, by the way? Oh my God. I was on the screen with Loshak for 2 seconds and I was like, all the money's on Sam Houston and we've had like 4 points of movement towards FIU. That was the easiest play ever. I didn't make it, but that was such an easy play. Good job by you.
Yeah, it was crazy too, Jose, because Sam Houston, the first half, they got on the 5-yard line for like first and goal 3 different times and they got stopped all 3 times. Shout out to that defense over there at FIU. Last week, I gave out that bonus play under in the FIU game, and they let me down on defense. This week, they came back strong for me, though. So, yeah, let's just keep it going, man. We had a losing week over the weekend on the show and on my X. I believe it's the 3rd losing week we've had going into week 9, but nothing crazy. I think we lost like 1.8 units or something in total, but a lot of those games could have gone the other way. With that being said, let's get right to it, Jose. Mute.
Classic. I see cabs coming on the screen soon. I just had to do that to myself. But shout out to Billy. He dropped his action for those people wondering in the chat. So shout out to you, Billy. Thank you again, my guy. Let's talk about, I see him in the chat all the time. So his ass better be here now for this breakdown. Illinois, Oregon here. Obviously now number 1 Oregon after a big victory last week, and what everyone said was going to be the game of the year right there. Was it last week? Was that 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
All my weeks are just fucking blending together. Wine time, especially with now basketball starting. I'm going to be fucked.
It's a crazy time. This is the busiest time of the year coming up, Jose. Man, this is when the shows go 4 or 5 hours, man.
Yes, yes, that is facts right there. Illinois as well, coming off of a giant win in their own right. They beat Michigan, who we all kind of know at this point Michigan's very fraudulent, but it's still a big victory for them nonetheless. 21.5-point favorites at home here. Saturated. I hope you're watching right now because this is a big game for your Illini. We have against the spread here. Let me go find your team here. Saturated. 65% of the bets, 86% of the money on the Illini. Wow, pretty surprising. I did not expect Illinois to be bet so heavily here. That's fascinating to me. Action had this line opening up at 21.5 here. It's kind of stayed around there. Got up to 22 at one point, but staying at 21.5 here for Illinois. That's very fascinating. Let's talk about the total here action real quick. I will also, by the way, obviously Jimmy is going to have to reshape his line shopping and all this stuff as well, as am I. So apologies that this might take a little longer than usual. 41% of the bets, but 83% of the money on the over in this game. Sharp action seems like is on the over in this game. Wine time. Love to hear your thoughts. You've got a sterling record so far this year. What do you think?
Yeah, Jose, very interesting matchup here in Big Ten play, honestly. I was thinking, why isn't College Game Day here? But, they had it 2 weeks ago at Austin against Ohio State. Makes sense. But, man, Illinois, man, this is a team that we've made money on all season long. Shout out to my guy Saturated in the chat. And by the way, shout out to everyone in the chat. I see my guy Wager Detective, Mally Mal, Nutflush, my guy Chase. Shout out to Billy, giving out all those NBA plays beforehand. I know he's going to have a big season this year. So make sure you tail him on those plays. But yeah, getting into this game, guys. Pat Bryant and Zachary Franklin are pretty much the
two best players on this Illinois offense. Both of them are wide receivers, playing really well, honestly. And Luke Altmaier is continuously throwing to them every single game. I believe both of them have over 40 targets. The next target in line is the tight end, I believe, at 14 targets. So you know who the ball's going to in these situations, and they haven't been figured out yet, honestly. Luke Altmaier is playing some big-time ball right here for being a Big Ten quarterback. A lot of expectations coming into this year. I wasn't high on him. He's exceeding all of them. He's doing his job. He's not turning the ball over. He's being a game-time manager, but at the same time, he's making some big-time throws downfield. I've seen him make some NFL-type throws, and, this is a good Oregon defense, man. Make no mistake about it. This was something going into this season that I was going to be extremely high on about this Oregon team was the defense. It's that pass rush over there. Defensive line. They've got some really young talent. Sophomores, these guys are getting to the passer. They've got a really good pass rusher in Derek Carmen. He's got a 17% pass rush win rate. Extremely explosive off the edge. He wants to get to the quarterback every single play. It seems like he's almost going after the quarterback every single play. It's crazy. With that being said, Illinois, one thing they have struggled a little bit this year on offense is the offensive line. They've been having some trouble protecting Luke Altmaier behind there. You saw against the Penn State game, a game where, this game was a tie game until the fourth quarter, until Penn State scored 2 touchdowns in that fourth quarter. The Illinois was hanging tough with these guys, but they did give up 7 sacks to that Penn State defensive line, which is elite. And I think this Oregon defensive line is either very equivalent or even maybe better. So that is going to be a problem here for Illinois. But that being said, though, man, 21 points here. This line opened up, I believe, at a 22.5. We are seeing more of the bets coming in on Illinois. You know what? Oregon, a team I faded a couple weeks ago, I said they were kind of fraudulent. Dylan Gabriel wasn't super familiar with the system. Since then, it looks like he's just super comfortable. It looks like he's been there now for a couple years in this Will Stein offense. I mean, as he should. He's a 6-year guy. This is his 3rd stop. He's an experienced quarterback. Going into the season, we knew he was an NFL-type quarterback. But I do expect him to make some mistakes in this game, guys. Illinois, what do they like to do best? They like to take the ball away on defense. That's what they've been doing. They've been able to create a good amount of turnovers this season, and they're also very elite in the red zone. Going into the Ohio State game, what did Oregon struggle with in the red zone? Dylan Gabriel, I mentioned, was throwing a lot of interceptions. He's cleaned that up big time since then. All I'm saying is I think I just need 1 interception in the red zone and 1 stop on 4th and short for Illinois to easily cover this spread. I think this is too many points, even though it is on the road. This is probably Illinois' toughest opponent. They did play Penn State. They hung tight with them, though, the whole entire game, man, and I think they can do something similar here. They're not super explosive on Illinois' end either, and Luke Altmaier likes to throw the ball. I think they need to switch it up a little bit here, Jose, and run the ball. They've got a really good running back over there. They got to burn time off the clock and keep this Oregon offense off the field as much as possible, because when this Oregon offense is on the field, you got Jordan James in the backfield. This guy's a 2nd, 3rd round NFL running back. You got Tez Johnson at the receiver position. This guy would have been a 2nd round pick last year in the NFL draft. They've got weapons everywhere. Oregon's got the money. They've got the coaching staff, Dan Lanning, Will Stein. This team's got it all, but I just think Brent Bielema is going to go in here with a chip on his shoulder, as he has all season. No one was that high on this Illinois team going into this year. And what have they done? They've been proving every team wrong. They're 6-1, I believe, going into this game. Yeah, 6-1. Their only lone loss to the number 3 Penn State. And like I said, it was tied going to the 4th game. Give me Illinois here plus 21.5 minus 110. Gave it out on Monday night. It's still that same number. I don't think it's going to go much down. It might get down to a 21. You know what? Maybe this spread's here for a reason, guys. And maybe Illinois gets the doors blown off them, but I'm not going to fade them here in this situation. If you're going to give me 20 points with a team that's made me cash being dogs all season long, give me Illinois here.
I like that look. I will admit to you. Did Oregon have a bye week last week? Is that why I don't remember them playing, I guess?
So Oregon last week actually played Purdue, and they beat them 35-0.
Oh, yes, right. It was on on Thursday or something like that. I remember.
Yeah, it was Friday night, I think. Yeah, Friday night. Okay,
so that makes sense why I don't remember their game on Saturday then. Yeah, I just think there's too many points. I agree with you. Am I a little scared? Sure. But I agree wholeheartedly. I think Illinois comes out here, and this is a good game. Shout out to you, Saturated. Hope you're doing well, and I hope your Illinois Fighting Illini do well this week as well. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Keep moving on Wine Time's best bets. Almost called you Cab there. Let's go to Penn State. Speaking of them, versus Wisconsin here. Let's start here. The 6.5 line was the first red flag for me. I was like, wow, 6.5 points, not that much, not that much. And Penn State is, I don't know what kind of team to categorize them as yet. I think they're fraudulent. I don't really believe in them. You've bet against them successfully this year as well, Wine Time. We all remember the UCLA game. Wisconsin, though, they're searching for that big win. Shout to Luke Fickell. They're sort of in a mini identity crisis. He's been trying to spread offense them for the last 2 years, and all I hear from like people that like and watch Wisconsin a lot, they're just like, man, I miss the days where it was, beat the shit out of Illinois because we can run the ball 40 times, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a mini identity crisis, and I understand. But again, 6.5 points here was kind of the indicator like, okay, Wisconsin definitely live in this game. Camp Randall, one of the best home field atmospheres. So I leaned Wisconsin. Let's talk market here. We'll talk totals first because that's what I have up right now. 92% of the bets and 98% of the money on the over. Unsurprisingly there. A lot of people love betting overs, but wow, such force here. And wow, I mean, again, basically the same thing against the spread. 87% of the bets and 95% of the money on Penn State. Wow. I'm pretty surprised by that. I think Wisconsin is live in this game, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, I don't watch Wisconsin football that much, but we went from 8.5 3 days ago, goes down to 6.5. It was about a day ago, 2 days ago now. We're still at 6.5 minus 111. I mean, again, Wine Time. I think that Penn State very much live to lose this game. 6.5. I don't know, Wines. What do you think?
I'm gonna have a hot take right here, Jose. If Tyler Van Dyke doesn't get hurt in the Alabama game, is Wisconsin 7-0? I think they are. Tyler Van Dyke on that opening possession was looking really good, and pretty much they brought in Brendan Locke, true sophomore guy that's been in with the system since last year. He's backing up, doing the backup job right now. To Tyler Van Dyke, but he's now the starter, and he's actually starting to take over this offense, and they're starting to come out with more plays specifically designed for him. Not as many. It was before they were trying to run the same Tyler Van Dyke offense in that game against USC. Just wasn't working out too good. Same against Alabama. I mean, when your first game in your career is against Alabama, it's going to be tough, man, especially when you're not throwing the ball. You're just running the ball the entire time. That's what they were doing in that game. With that being said, man, Madison, Wisconsin, this is going to be a rocking crowd out here, man. They're coming off 3 straight huge wins. This defense, man, this Wisconsin defense, don't get me wrong, Jose, they haven't faced too much of competition, give or take. It's been Northwestern, it's been Rutgers, it's been Purdue the last 3 weeks. They've held all 3 teams to under 250 yards of total offense. They're playing lights out on defense. Luke Fickell is really emphasizing hard-nosed football right now. They're running the ball actually pretty well right now as well. They've got a good running back in Tyree Walker. This guy's playing big-time ball. I think he has 8 or 9 touchdowns and almost 600 yards. Very explosive with the ball in his hand. In my opinion, this is the bet. I mean, I feel like in every breakdown, I have something good to say about these Big Ten running backs. I think this is probably the best class of running backs we have seen in quite some time, honestly, that are going to enter the draft this year. With that being said, though, man, it's going to be an electric atmosphere out here. Penn State, on the other hand, they're coming off a bye week. Jose, I mean, I cursed that game against that USC game. I texted you at halftime. You know what I mean? We already know about that. That was a game, though, Jose. USC had every right.
I don't know how they lost.
There's no way they should have lost that game. They lost the game. Bottom line, it happened. With that being said, though, Penn State made some really good second half adjustments, and USC did lose some key defenders in that game. That being said, I'm still not that impressed by this Penn State team, Jose. You're coming off their last couple games. I mean, you look at USC, they beat them by 3, a team that just lost to Maryland on the road, that lost to Minnesota on the road, that's lost to Michigan on the road. You look at they beat up on UCLA 27-11 in a game that was almost tied at halftime, a game that UCLA had their starting backup quarterback in that actually had a 60% completion rate, which was absolutely wild. With that being said, man, Wisconsin's definitely live in this one. I think they're going to get them outright here, Jose. Take the money line in this one if you guys want, but be safe. I got in at the +7 minus 110 when this first opened up. It's at a 6.5 right now. I take it all the way to a 6. I think we're going to be seeing some smash mouth type football from Wisconsin. I think they're going to be able to hold their end of the bargain in the trenches where they've been playing pretty well the last couple of games. Give or take, the competition's been, it's not Penn State competition. And this offensive coordinator from Penn State, Coach K, coming over from Kansas, I've talked about it, ran a high-powered offense over there, and we're seeing what Kansas is doing this year, and they're not scoring at all. So we know how good of an offensive coordinator this is. Only problem really is Drew Aller. I'm not a big fan of the quarterback in this spot, honestly. Give or take, he was a 5-star recruit, and he's playing good time football right now. I think he's being a little more protected by the system, though, and his offensive linemen. They've got some good blockers up there up front for him that are keeping him protected. That being said, man, this, like I said, rowdy environment. Wisconsin's going to win this game outright, guys, but give me the +7 in this one. We got 13. I think it's like 13% of bets, 5% of money on the spread, and it's went from a 7 to a 6.5. This is going to get to a 6 before game time. I guarantee it. With more money coming in on Penn State, we're going to see that reverse line movement. So get in right now at the 6.5 or buy up a little bit to the +7. But Wisconsin's going to get these guys outright.
I agree. I like Wisconsin here. I will probably be moving on Wisconsin myself. Wine Time officially in +7 here for Wine Time -110. I like that look, Wine Time. We're just going to keep fading Penn State until they fucking lose.
Oh, yeah.
We're just going to keep fading them until they lose.
The last 2 games were 2-0, and both games that I'm not saying UCLA could have gotten them outright, but I mean, it was a lot closer than a lot of people thought. And that USC game was, I just think, a debacle by Lincoln Riley over there. I don't even know, man, what's going on over there. I told Boston Sauce this Saturday, if they lose to Maryland, Lincoln Riley should be fired on the field. He lost, and he didn't get fired on the field, but he still has a lot of time left in that contract, so they're probably not going to let him go.
Fucking Lincoln Riley, man. What a guy. I wish he would have just made USC into a powerhouse, like a point and laugh at Oklahoma. But, oh, well. Let's move on here, Wine Time. And let's talk about my favorite team in the country now, BYU. And why is BYU my favorite team in the country? Just because I like the quarterback story. Jewish quarterback at BYU, for those of you that don't know. And he started the hashtag BYJew.
Yeah.
So that's all I've been calling BYU now. So BYJew here. Here's the thing, though. Yeah, and I mean, Wine, this was the most obvious play. When I wrote down the line, I was like, oh, no shit. Unranked team, favored.
At the bounce house.
Yeah, this just had UCF written all over it. BYU has been a great story. They kicked the shit out of it. Well, they don't even kick the shit out of Oklahoma State. They had to beat them in a last-second game. And Oklahoma State this year sucks. Yep. Really bad. Really bad. So as much as I love saying BYU, I'm all about UCF here. I agree wholeheartedly. I already know you're on UCF, so I'll take your thunder there. I want to be on UCF too, Wine Time. So please regale us why we should all be on UCF. And by the way, 74% of the tickets, 95% of the money on BYU. And it doesn't seem like this line has moved at all. I'm scrolling down here. And we had
UCF was a +2 on Monday, Jose. When I bet it at a +110, they moved up. They were at +2 when I got them on the money line at +110. Sorry, I gave away my pick, but yeah, we're seeing some movement. They went from a dog to a favorite.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? Because I'm looking at it. I'm looking at BYU right now. This opened up, like you said, -2 BYU, and we flip. I mean, again, come on. This has UCF, written all over it. So shout out to BYU here, but yeah, I'm going to be on UCF, and please tell us why UCF is going to roll here.
Yeah, shout out to Justin in the chat, said bounce house just hits different. Yeah, I learned that a couple years ago with Doc, man. He put me on the bounce house, man. In these situations, this is the exact game too. That just fits perfectly with everything UCF here, man. Let's start off with BYU, guys. What a year they've been having. They're the 11th team in the nation. What a win they had against Oklahoma State in the final minute of the game. It was an electric environment out there at BYU. Everyone is talking about the background of BYU now. All of a sudden, people are realizing that this is a beautiful stadium. It's kind of crazy. It's been like this for a while now, but beautiful place to play football out there, man. Shout out to Jake Retzlaff, man. He's doing his job. He was 0-5 as the starter last year, 7-0 this year, playing some big-time football, being in the Big 12 right now. going against this game against UCF, we saw them make the change at quarterback from KJ to Ja'Cory Brown, the Miami transfer, someone that plays very similar to KJ Jefferson, which kind of lines up well with this offense because, I mean, this kind of everyone's kind of thinking KJ was going to have a Cam Newton type of year with being with the coach and all, being with Cam Newton's coach in college and stuff, Mizzou. That being said, he got benched, and they bring in Ja'Cory Brown, a guy that can do very similar things. He's 6'5", 230, big dude that can run really well, probably faster than KJ Jefferson. Not as big, but definitely faster. And I think that has a bigger arm. This guy was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. I remember him coming out of high school and going to Miami. It was a big-time commit for Miami, and I thought he was actually going to do big things there. Enters the portal, loses the job to KJ this year, takes over the job now. With that being said, what is UCF doing right now? They're running the ball top 10 in the nation right now. There's very few teams that are running the ball more than them. They've got a guy named RJ Harvey, elite with the football in his hand, very fast. He's got good size for the position as well. That's what UCF is going to do in this game. They're going to run the ball at will. What did Oklahoma State do last week with Ollie Gordon? Ran the ball at will, and he was unstoppable, give or take. Ollie Gordon I still think is one of the better running backs in the nation. I think he was being used very wrong in the beginning of the season. A lot of these games, they just weren't giving him the ball after he had the hot hand. It was like they just wanted to go straight to the pass. But with that being said, we're not going to see Ja'Cory Brown throw more than probably 20 to 25 passes in this game. We're going to probably see him get 15 carries himself. And we're going to see him probably crossing the end zone himself as well. I think, Jose, this is going to be a game where on the very first play of this is going to be a type of game where BYU gets the ball and they're going to fumble it on the opening snap. It's going to go for a touchdown. UCF's going to go up 7-0. They're going to get a kick return. This game's going to get out of hand really quick, and people are going to start betting BYU live, and it's just going to get even more out of hand. I think this isn't a close game. I think UCF wins this game by 10-plus points at the Bounce House. This crowd's going to be rocking. They're coming off heartbreaking loss to the number 8 team in the nation, Iowa State, a team that's probably going to go 12-0 this year, and that's going to make a run in the college football playoff. Ja'Cory Brown played really well in that game, losing to Cincinnati by 6. Give or take, they did lose to Florida. Not a good team. It was in Florida, a hostile environment. That being said, though, Ja'Cory Brown's at quarterback. I think this is going to be better for the offense. Give me UCF on the money line. I got them at plus 110 on Monday night. Believe they're a favorite now because they're minus 1.5, so it's probably a minus 120. They're going to win this game, though, guys. This isn't even going to be close. At halftime, it's going to be like 28-7, and people are going to be like, what? They're going to remember the Bounce House, man. This is a Bounce House type of game for UCF. They get it done.
I agree. Billy Friedrich pouring some cold water on us and saying UCF is going to have to score 30 to win. Don't think he can score that many, and it's a 3:30 kickoff, not at 9. It's a big deal. I hear you, Billy. I wish you luck here. I just think the line says it all, though. I mean, BYU has been a great story. And Jake Retzlaff is their quarterback. Yes, I need to learn his name and just instead of just saying BYU all the time. Great story. I like the whole thing. But I do think they're going to run into the wall eventually. And Billy mentioning that the time will be to fade BYU will be them playing Utah in a few weeks. Trust me, I'll be fading them too as well. So I agree.
Yeah. And shout out to my guy Northender in the chat. Northend, I literally remember you and Doc talking about that last year, and I got on UCF because that was the game last year where they absolutely blew that team out in UCF when they were playing a ranked team. Same exact spot. Shout out to my guy Nutfletch saying take the team total as well. Definitely like that look as well. I haven't looked at what the team total is for this one. A lot of my books don't really give me that until the day of or the day before, unfortunately. So I don't have a play in that, but I do lean towards the team total over in that as well for UCF.
Agreed there. And yeah, there's a lot of lovely nicknames for this BYU team now, but BYU just has a nice little ring to it. The Stormin' Mormons, great. BYU. I love that.
Hey, Jose, did we skip Washington, Indiana, or is that next?
That is next. You're beautiful. You're rolling here. Look at this. He's got a third eye open to his wine time. And then next we have LSU, A&M, Dabby Cab, wine time, both on it. Cotter Mack is going to be on it as well. So very excited to hear all of the different opinions on that one. But we are going to talk about College Game Day today, or I guess this week. Indiana, Washington. A name to remember, Kurt Segnetti. I mean, good Lord. He goes to JMU, turns them to a wagon, goes to Indiana, brings half his roster from JMU to Indiana, and is still a wagon with Indiana. I mean, we saw Tom Allen hug everyone and tell them that they love each other and all that stuff, and it worked out for them a few years ago. But damn, this just feels like a good football team, Wine. It really does. Now, they're going against Washington, who isn't bad, admittedly. I don't think they're like your scum kind of team. They beat Michigan for us a few weeks ago. We appreciated that. 6.5 points here on the road. I don't know here. I maybe it's just a bias towards game day, but I always tend to believe these game day home crowds. I want them to win, I guess. I don't know what it is. I'll mention it's super public, I guess we'll call it right now. Line for Indiana, 86% of the bets, 96% of the money on Indiana, which does not make me want to back them at all. This is a 6.5 opener. It got up to 7 at one point and just came immediately back down to 6.5. I mean, the market is indeed screaming that Washington is the play here. And you could say that these big, these little schools that have game day for the first time, it's such a big deal, et cetera, et cetera. The hype is there, the crowd, the pressure, all that. I just don't know. I just don't know if Indiana can handle it here. The market doesn't seem like they agree. Totals wise in the market, we have it pretty split down the middle. 53% of the bets, 55% of the money on the over. Total has gone from a 53.5. It got up to 55.5 at one point and came right back down here. Wine. Market's screaming Washington. What do you think?
Yeah, Jose, really interesting Big Ten matchup right here. We see Washington head on the road here to Indiana, where College game day is going to be at. I just want to give a quick shout out to Indiana, man. When UCLA played them at home in their home opener, I wasn't high on this Indiana team. It came out here and said UCLA was going to beat them outright. Completely wrong, man. Kurt Zanetti, what he's doing over for this program, bringing the JMU culture, literally the culture. I mean, all those guys said that we're literally installing the culture from JMU here. Everything there we're installing here because this place needs culture. I mean, look where they are here, being the number 13 team in the nation, Jose, sailing over their win total. 6 games in the season, it was over 5.5, I believe. You know what, though? This is going to be a tough matchup here for Indiana. I'm not sure if you heard about this, Jose, but Curtis Rourke, Indiana QB, is out for this game. He left the game last week. Who'd they bring in? Tavon Jackson. We know who Tavon Jackson's brother is. His big brother's playing on the Warriors. He was the Indiana power forward when they made that run a couple years ago. I don't even know what his name is, but this kid was a Tennessee. The quarterback who I'm talking about, his younger brother, was a Tennessee transfer going into Indiana last year, and he fought for the starting job as a redshirt freshman with Brendan Sorsby. He lost the job. Came in a couple games. He looked really bad. Give or take, it was a completely different offense. This Zanetti offense is completely different. That being said, Tavon Jackson entered the game last week. He went 8 for 9 completions, 2 touchdowns against a Nebraska defense that has been playing really good football this year. I do think it was against their second and third stringers, though, because it was towards the end of the game in the fourth quarter. They were moving the ball quite easily, honestly, and I think they just wanted to get Tavon some reps, some throwing reps, not running reps, because obviously they were still up by 40 points. They didn't need to throw the ball, but they just wanted to get him reps, I think, for this game. Washington, on the other hand, man, seems like I talk about a Washington game every single week, Jose, if we're being quite honest, either fading them or on them in some kind of way. Washington offense, they need to clean up a lot of things. Jed Fish talked about it in his press conference this week. The difference between these two teams and these two coaches, I know Kurt Zanetti, where he goes, he wins and stuff. You have to remember, though, guys, he was hired November 28th, something like that. Jed Fish was hired in Washington mid-January. He didn't get the winter portal. Indiana got the winter portal, and that's how they got all those guys over there, and they were able to work the portal really good. That being said, guys like Jed Fish, Kalen DeBoer, these guys got hired late. Deshaun Foster, these guys got hired late after the winter portal was already closed. So if they close the spring portal next year, which is a lot of talk about, I don't think that's good, because if you hire a coach that late into the season, it just doesn't give him a fair chance to win. With that being said, Jed Fish is doing everything he can to get wins for this Washington program, a team that coming off a national championship loss, you know what I mean, had a lot of good things working. Their coach left for Bama, and they've got the right personnel to do it, Jose. I really believe they do, because they've been moving the ball at will in every single game. I talk about it every week. They can't score in the red zone, and they can't kick field goals. They can't convert on 3rd and 4th and short for some reason. That being said, coming off a bye week, We were on Iowa a couple weeks ago. We gave out Iowa on the money line -140 or juicier line. I didn't want to take the spread, but they ended up taking care of business. Washington entering a hostile environment. This is a similar environment, but not nearly as close to an Iowa hostile environment. Even though it's college game day here at Indiana, these fans aren't going to be rocking how they were in Iowa. I can guarantee you that. Don't get me wrong. I love what Indiana's doing. They didn't sell out a crowd until 5 years ago before this season. Now they're selling out every single home game, which is awesome to see. I just think this is going to be too many points with a Washington team that's fighting every single game to stay alive in this Big Ten conference. Jedfish isn't giving up. Even I think they're 4-3 right now. Very well could be 6-1. The only real loss would be to Iowa, where they struggled big time. I think Washington's going to be able to clean some things up. And Indiana not having their quarterback in this game, going with the backup, I'm a little bit surprised at this line, honestly. Maybe they know something I don't. Maybe this is a higher spread for a reason. I mean, we're seeing all the bets come in on Indiana, too. I'm not sure if people know that Curtis Rourke isn't playing in this one. But, yeah, he's ruled out. He's not practicing this week. So it's definitely going to be tough for Tavon Jackson to come in and face a Washington defense that's actually pretty good. They're really good against the pass. I mean, look what they got torn up in the run game against Iowa, but they've been really good against the pass this season. And Indiana does like to run, and Tavon can take off and run with it. Don't get me wrong. He's a better athlete than he is a thrower. So I do believe he can get some rushing yards in this one too. And my mouse says Washington can stop the ground game. I do agree with that, but I think they're gonna clean a lot of things up this week. I mean, they're coming off a blow-off loss, and I trust Jed Fish. I think he's a really good coach. There's a reason why he went from Arizona in 2 years to Washington. I trust him in this spot. I think Washington, can they win this game? And these dogs, I've mostly said these dogs are going to win outright. I'm not sure if Washington's going to win this game outright, but I am going to take the +7 -110 in this one. I gave it out on Monday night. Will Rogers this guy's a fifth-year senior. He's played so much collegiate SEC ball and now coming over to the Big Ten, and they've got a good running back in Jonah Coleman, who I even forgot to bring up. This guy's an NFL-type running back. Hard-nosed guy, big dude, fast with the ball in his hand, explosive. I think they're going to be able to move the ball against Indiana, honestly. And if they can keep Indiana's offense from scoring touchdowns, maybe hold them to a couple field goals in the red zone, because Tavon Jackson, I do think he will struggle in the red zone because he's not used to game time reps. He faced a lot of second and third stringers last week in the fourth quarter. So with that being said, I'm taking Washington +7 in this one, -110. Let's go, Jose.
I agree. I think Washington is the play here. I think the market is screaming Washington. It helps that we're getting a backup here. Our Canadian friends will obviously know that Rourke is the brother of the other Rourke. That's a CFL star and was on the Cowboys for the preseason, etc. So, yes, I agree wholeheartedly with you there. So I'm going to be on Washington with you here for sure. All right, let's move on to the game I guess I'm most excited to talk about today. We have at least one other person coming on the panel, hopefully one more as well. But this person's Wi-Fi, unfortunately, was not working yesterday. Spectrum, Cox, whoever the fuck, I don't know, was not servicing his area. And God bless them, they came out there and they fixed it. So he's here to talk to us about his Texas A&M Aggies, the best football season they've had in quite a while. The one, the only Dabby Cab joins the program.
Let's go.
Deborah, hello, nice to see you. Your Wi-Fi looks great today. But we started muted, unfortunately. But it's okay. Yeah, no, you're muted, unfortunately. We can't hear you. Yep, we come back.
Yeah, no worries.
All right. Yeah, you know what? Hey, we started off so good, Wine Time. He looked great. I was excited. His A&M Aggies they're on top of the world right now. It seems like Texas versus A&M is going to mean something this year. And unfortunately, it started like that. But God bless them. So, all right. Well, let's talk about this game first. And we'll hopefully get our guests in here because I'm excited to hear all their notes here for this game. So LSU, admittedly, Wine Time from afar has not been a team that I have enjoyed watching. They've not. I follow a few LSU fans, and they have not been pleased with their squad either. This line is a little telling to me. You know, this is another classic higher ranked team against blah, blah, blah. Cab, you back?
Yeah, that was confusing. It was just turned all the way down. Can you hear me? Is it at a good?
You're good.
We're good now. You're beautiful. Thank you.
I didn't even know it could do that.
Yeah, well, there you go. We learn new things every day.
Yeah, all I got to say, Jose, is wow.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing my best Owen Wilson, I guess. Shout out to Owen Wilson. 80% of the bets, only 51% of the money on LSU. So these big oil tycoons all over A&M, 20% of the bets, 49% of the money on A&M. And I agree. And Cab said this the other week. I agree wholeheartedly. I think A&M is just going to keep on winning. I don't even know who they have in their schedule. I think A&M is going to keep on winning, and that's going to set up what I think they used to happen on Thanksgiving-ish. A&M, Texas, the first game back in a long-ass time. It's been so long. I've lived in Texas for a long time now. I've never experienced this rivalry. I'm very excited. I know there's a shitload of people that I like, that I know in my life, like A&M, like Texas, and they both fucking hate each other. So I personally think A&M just beats the shit out of LSU, and LSU shows themselves to really not be a good team here. So I'm going to be on A&M most likely in this game. I'll start off with you, Dabby Cap, because I'm excited to hear your take. I'll mention to you real quick, LSU start off at plus 3.5 a few days ago. Yesterday it goes down to 2.5. Interesting, but not enough here for me to get off A&M here. What do you think?
So two teams that are, having very similar seasons, right? You look at LSU, they came out, lost that game to USC to start the season. People kind of got pretty down on them then, but since then, 6-0, hasn't lost a game. Big win against Ole Miss, stomped Arkansas last week. Just doing a damn good job, as a whole, as a unit, as an offense. Even after Perkins getting hurt, defense has still been playing better, to be honest. Not saying him being hurt makes the defense better. He's an outstanding player. I'm just saying the defense has been playing better as a unit, right, as a whole. And then you look at A&M, same type of situation. They lost the first game to Notre Dame, at home, in front of a home crowd. People kind of get out a little bit. But now I've gone 6-0, right? We got the only two teams left right here that are undefeated in the SEC. So right now, this is a game that we're playing for first place in the SEC, which is not what anybody would have thought Texas A&M and LSU would have been doing, this many games into the season. 8 games in the season, week 8 here. So, I love the setup for this, and I love the spot. As A&M, you got to have it. You got to have this spot because I think the Texas game, that's a big ask at the late part of the season. And either of these teams, if they're able to go 10-2, I think we're still looking at, playoff teams. So I'm going to talk about matchups, and I don't mean to go too long-winded on this, but I have a lot to say on it, right? LSU's offensive line has been out fucking standing. Their offensive line has just been premier. They're giving Nussmeier plenty of time to throw the football. They've got outstanding receivers as always. LSU always seems to turn out just good receivers after good receivers. And that's my most excited thing to see here is the matchup between the offensive line where I started this statement and A&M's front seven, who I think, is maybe the best in the country, possibly. We're going to find out. We're about to find out. That's the matchup. It's the trenches. This game's going to be won or lost in the trenches. You got, two good offensive lines to talk about A&M's offensive line also, and two good defensive lines. This is all trenches. This game is a trench battle, and I love the home crowd for something like that. I love getting the big men amped up. Keep the energy going, keep it live. I took A&M here at 2.5. I think they can win the battle in the trenches. One thing I'll say about LSU, though, is they've proven they can win different styles of football games, whereas A&M needs to play a clean football game, right? They have to win this game in the trenches. They have to get Le'Veon Moss going. If they are not able to get him going, Wigman is not somebody that I have built enough trust in yet to take this game over and do something like LSU and Ole Miss have. I don't want a shootout in this game. I need it to be slow. I need it to be controlled. I need A&M to win the trenches. And that's what I think they're going to be able to do. So that's why I'm on A&M here.
All right, A&M for Cabby. Let's finish off our three-headed college football monster here. And let's bring on the one, the only. I think Connor is starting to enjoy the way I do his intros. I think it's starting to grow on him a little bit. I think he loves it because it's the one, the only, Miggity Mac Daddy Connor Mac Picks joins the program. Connor, it's nice to see you.
Mac.
I'm glad that you chose this game. It's nice to see you.
What up?
See Mac.
Jose, ole. My guy, Cat. It's corresponding time. What up, boys?
What up?
How are we?
It's nice to see you, Connor. I'm glad that you chose this game because, like I said, all three you motherfuckers wanted to talk about this game. So I love it. Let's move on to you, Wine Time. I'm interested to hear your breakdown on this game here. I'm fascinated what side you're on here, and I hope that you're on the same side as Cabby.
Yeah, this is a game I looked at early in the week on Monday. I actually texted Cab about it right when I saw it. Yeah, I mean, I'm on the same side, as we know. With that being said, man, I just want to say this right here. Wigman's been making some big-time throws, man. Yeah, he makes a lot of mistakes, but he can make the big-time throws. This guy was a 5-star recruit for a reason coming into college football. He can make the throws. He's got the size for the position. I want to see him more consistent with it. I want to see him more poised in the pocket. With that being said, they've got a really good running back over there. Cab already mentioned it. Le'Veon Moss, man. This guy's tearing it up right now. 6.4 yards a carry. He's got 8 touchdowns, man. This guy's a tank out there. Like I said, this is the best running back draft class I've seen in college football in quite some time. There's so many good running backs out there this year. With that being said, I think kind of what Cab touched on, I think A&M is kind of going to have to keep this LSU offense off the field for the most part. This is going to have to be a more lower scoring game. They're going to have to control the time of possession. A&M runs the ball at a 62% rate. That's 11th in the nation. They're trying to keep as much pressure off Wigman as they can. They ask him to make the big throws. They also make him to make a lot of game time manager type throws. And really just stay consistent and not make too many turnovers in this matchup. Because if he has more than 1 or 2 turnovers in this, it's going to be tough for them to win. Don't get me wrong. Look at LSU on the other side. Garrett Nessmeyer, a guy that not a lot of people talked about going into this year. This guy's an NFL draft prospect right now. He's looking really good when he's throwing in the pocket. With that being said, he's got one of the best wide receivers to throw to in Kyron Lacey. Cab mentioned it. He's got the wide receivers to throw to. A very interesting matchup I'm going to be looking out for. This cornerback, his name is – what is it? Let's see. Yeah, so Kyron Lacey against Will Lee. Really good. He's going to be all-conference cornerback over there from AMN. He's been playing lights out over there at the cornerback position. He's been able to control every wide receiver one he's faced this year. It's going to be a very interesting matchup to see if he can kind of keep Lacey in check a little bit if he guards him one-on-one. It's going to be tough to guard him one-on-one regardless because Lacey, I do believe, is a first-round NFL draft choice going into the NFL this year. But I do think he's up for the task in this one, especially playing at Kyle Field, man. Cab mentioned on this. We talk about this all the time. This is one of the most hostile environments in college football.
I'm muted. He's tall, man. He's taller than most cornerbacks, 6'3".
Yeah, and he's been playing. I mean, he's a man-to-man corner too. He can play really good. He's got really good ball skills. I think he's going to be able to match up well against a Lacey, who is 6'2", 6'3", somewhere around that range. So it's going to be interesting. And Cab, you mentioned it too, man. This Texas A&M defensive line, this is the number 1 defensive line in the nation. If you ask me, I said this before the season. Remember Texas just blowing you up. You're like, dude, they've got so many physical specimens over there, like in training
Nick
camp.
Gordon is watching him
crazy.
play.
Like even their backups, man. These guys are NFL type guys. These guys can get to the pass rush and they can stop the run. LSU, they don't like to run the ball. They're running the ball one of the least amount of times in the nation. They're throwing the ball over 60% of the time. I think A&M can get to him a little bit. You touch on it too, though, Cab. This LSU offensive line, they've got some NFL guys over there as well. So it's going to be interesting to see that matchup in the trenches, which I do think is going to settle this game. I think if Wigman can stay turnover-free football and make the consistent throws and not ask him to do too much and Le'Veon Moss to run over this LSU defense, hopefully, I think it's going to be enough for an A&M to get out of this with a win, especially being at home. LSU, you know, they're built on those explosive plays. If A&M can limit those explosive plays, that's what I said about Ole Miss when they face them. They have to limit the explosive plays by this LSU offense because that's the only reason why they score. They've got a lot of talent over there. I think A&M can match up really well with them, especially playing at home. So give me A&M. I went a little bit differently. I took the money line at -135. It paid a little bit of juice just because I think A&M wins this game. Do I think they can cover this 2.5? Yeah, I'm just going to be a little more safe, though. I'm going to pay a little bit more juice, and I'm going to get the money line.
And Cab, did you take full game or first half? Sorry.
Full game.
Full game. All right. Cab and Wine both on A&M full game. Connor Mack picks. Welcome.
Yeah.
Your first opinion.
Yeah, I looked at this a ton on Monday, and Wigman, the success of him, I think, is key in this game. And you guys hit on it. Like, I just worry about him and his turnover. And at times in the last few weeks, I thought he looks great. The defense against Mississippi State, we had touched on that kind of the flat spot before this game. but they took care of business, even though they didn't cover. But now they're back here at home, and this is where I want them. We're starting to see threes pop up, which I at least like to see. And LSU, after taking them 2 weeks ago, which was great against Ole Miss for me, we got slapped. I was on Arkansas. We got slapped all over this. It seems like lately on goddamn games I'm on here. So let's fucking get it together in this one. But Arkansas couldn't get it done. The offensive line, I thought it's been amazing. They do have the receivers. Lacey is great down the line. Daniels, but I thought the offensive line for LSU has been money. I need to see more of it. As good as Esquire's been, and I think the step up with their defense has been excellent. But are they really that good? I don't think they're that good. LSU, their defense. I think it's solid. They took in a lot of strides from just being a dead over team that gave up a shit ton of points all year long last year. At Texas A&M, man, I think they could run the ball. I love them here at home. I just want to, after getting my ass kicked last week and watching that game, I thought it was a little more Arkansas too. They didn't have the best offense going into that. I knew that. And they couldn't really get anything going in this one. But going on the road a week later, LSU wins this, I'm going to start I'll take 2 losses straight up. So in a row, and there'll be attention to them. But I have to be on A&M here. I got to lean on them. I got to lean on them at home. I'm going to lay the 2.5 minus 110. I think they get the job done. I'm hoping this line goes to 3, and we'll see. If it goes to 3.5, there might be buyback then to the 3 with LSU. I get it. People see what they've last seen. They've last seen LSU winning football games. Beating Ole Miss. I mean, they've looked very, very good as of late. But right here on the road, second game, 2 weeks, I want to fade him, text him, take care of the ball, lean on that D line, lean on that front 7, and they get the victory here. Don't turn the ball over.
Man, all I got to say is wow, wow, wow. I did not expect this. I kind of thought a lot of people would be on LSU, but good to hear you guys have the same thoughts. This game matters. This game matters a lot. So
it is. It's big time. I mean, that scares me a little bit. That's what I was just saying. If this goes to 3, then 3.5, I could see LSU. And this would be big for LSU to go back-to-back road games and go and win for them. And it's huge for A&M. I think you hit on a cab. Both these teams are 6-1. I mean, this is it. So give me this home team at Kyle Field. Yeah.
Well, yes, this is a huge game, and look at us. All 3 of the cappers we have on screen here all love them some A&M, and our guy Wager Detective on the other side. So this is going to be a fun matchup. Good luck, Wager Detective. Good luck, all 3 of you. I will be on A&M as well here. Not Flush likes the under in this game here as well. A fascinating one. I cannot wait to watch this game. Cap, thank you for joining us. I knew you were itching to get into this game here. So I appreciate you coming on a day that you weren't scheduled to come on here and give us your opinions here. Anything you want to plug before we have to get you out of here?
Oh, no, we'll be right back here. You know the deal. Pub Sports Radio. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, I had a lot more thoughts on it, but Wine Time, C-Mac, Jose, chat.
Hey, what else you got? Tell me about it.
What do you mean? What else I got? Like bets?
No. I mean, on this game, you just said, fucking let's go. What else you got?
Well, I need Scooby Williams to, stay home and not overcommit to certain things. I've been enjoying watching him play recently. I trust A&M here. I'm shocked you guys all came in here and said A&M. I'm going to be completely honest. I knew Wine Time because I talked to him, but I kind of thought a lot of people would look LSU here, but I think C-Mac, it's recency bias on what we've seen. But then we got the chat, there's the LSU's coming in the chat where I thought Earl, some of them, it's gonna be a fun game on the trenches.
I get it.
Like I said.
Yeah, no, this is a game where I know 2 of my Boston the Sauce. I know they're on the opposite side of me, so I mean there are people on LSU very much. I want to see it, man. Look, I mean LSU is the public side here, but I just think like A&M here at home at Kyle Field, man. They lost to Notre Dame the first game at home. They don't lose too many games at home.
Close game too,
plays
obviously.
turnover-free football, and they're able to run the ball successfully and stop LSU in the red zone. There's no way A&M doesn't come out with this victory. It's gonna, it's gonna have to be a little bit lower scoring.
We always talk. I always talk about Scorton right on the edge, obviously, but Stewart on the other side is not equally as impressive, but damn close. I'm so curious to see if they can get home and create, or even if they can't get home, like Ole Miss didn't get one fucking sack that whole game. I'm saying again, Ole Miss didn't get one sack.
And Ole Miss has an impressive defense too. That's crazy, honestly. Yeah.
No
Yeah,
pressure.
the line's been great. Yeah.
So if Elko, who again, I see the chat talking about the coaching matchup between like Elko here, he's a defensive mind. Okay, Elko's a defensive mind. Kelly, whatever you want to call it, I don't know, offense, defense, whatever you want to call him. Elko's a defensive mind. He'll find a way to get home if he does that and creates pressure. A&M wins the football game. If not, if he's comfortable in this line, does what they did to Ole Miss, I don't know if A&M can keep up with that type of scoring. So they have to get home. We need pressure. That's what we need. And I trust Scorton. I trust Stewart. I trust some of these guys to make it. Williams, if he's going to come on blitz, like I trust him to make it.
They need to. And here's the thing with Kelly. I think, it took me all week that week to get him just because Tiger Stadium at night, really. He hasn't been good in big games. So, this would be better. And the win, last week was pretty good, obviously, but like this would be better for him because I don't think he's a great big game coach at all. Now, Elko on the side, we got to find out, they hear it with the pressure at A&M. This would be a real big win for him.
Agreed. Any other final thoughts here?
This is a game I'm excited for, guys. I'm stoked for this one. I'm looking forward to this one. This is gonna be a smash mouth type of football game. I'm excited, man. Let's go A&M. Let's go Aggies.
Yeah, I'll be on them as well. Cab, your A&M propaganda is starting to spread. The people love it. All right, Cab. Thank you again. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
No, I already did it.
Okay.
Let me grab my charger. I'll be right back.
No worries, Connor. We'll be right back there. And our guy, Wine Time Sports. That concludes our games with you, Winey. And we appreciate you coming on here, as always, on your Wednesdays. Your record here is great. Your first losing weekend, I don't know how long you said. You've had like 3 all year, so you're having a great season here. Let me recap your action real quick, Wine, just so I can make sure I have it all. And if I don't, obviously.
Yeah, Jose, a little correction. I gave you -110 on Wisconsin. It's actually -150, +7, -115. Sorry.
Okay, beautiful. No worries there. So Wine's action. Illinois +21.5, -110. Wisconsin +7, -115. UCF moneyline +110. And we have Washington +6.5. Was that -110? I actually didn't write it.
It was +7, Jose, -110.
+7, -110. Thank you there. A&M and A&M money line -135 there to end it right there.
Yep. Yes,
beautiful.
Sir.
Look at that. All right, Wine. I appreciate you again. Thank you for joining me on these Wednesdays. You're a college football demon, and I appreciate it. I need your thoughts here on a college football Wednesday here. Anything you'd like to plug before we get out of here?
Yeah, Jose, always a pleasure doing this show with you, man. Look forward to this every week, man. Always a good time here on a Wednesday. I think I was on here for almost an hour today. It didn't seem like it though, man. Good time though, as always, breaking down college football, man. This is my number one thing to do, man. I love talking college ball. I love breaking down games. Love hearing what the chat has to say about it. I love hearing what you have to say. The other cappers on screen, man. We all have our own ways to cap these games, and it's just a blessing. We could all come together here, watch each other, and have a good time while doing it and make money while doing it. With that being said, man, appreciate you as always, Jose. Shout out to Jeff Slaughter, Jimmy the Bag, everyone. Shout out to Who Banging over there too. We'll be doing the tailgate tonight, little tailgate talks for the weekday games at 6 p.m. West Coast time. Check us out there. I'll be with Jimmy in the Bag Friday morning, breaking down the Friday night games, and I think I'm going to add in a couple other games as well. So be on the lookout for that. Saturday morning with my guy Dabby Cab in the morning, then Boston the Sauce, and then the live stream, man. I missed the live stream last week because it was the wife's birthday, but I'll be back this week, ready to make some live bets and cash some bets, guys. So, yeah, appreciate everyone in the chat. Mally Mal, Wager Detective, Coin, Billy Friedrich, my guy, Earl Sports Bets. Good to see you, my guy. Justin, as always. And Jose, as always, good work, my guy. Appreciate you.
Good work, Wine Time. Thank you very much, as always, for joining us here. Connor comes back to the program. Connor, I'm appreciative that you joined me here on these Wednesdays. We have a full, well, not even a full slate, but you brought us a good amount of games here, and we'll also cover the games tonight here at the end here real quick. We'll cover the 2 games tonight here. So we will start with our guy Utah State and Wyoming here today. Utah State, a very interesting squad here. Let's go to the market immediately here and see where the bets are. Wow. I mean, obviously this is not a highly bet game. Only 1,000 tickets in here so far, but 97% of the bets and money on Utah State here. Wow, wow, wow. Very interesting there. I'm going to keep saying wow now just to make Dabby Cab laugh wherever you are, Dabby. This line opened up Utah State plus 2.5 yesterday here and is now all the way to Utah State minus 1.5. Wow, wow, wow. Connor Mac picks. Let me know what you're on in this game here. I'm fascinated to see what you have to say. Oh, you're muted on StreamYard here.
Okay, we good?
Yes.
Yeah, let's get to this this good game right here. Utah State, Wyoming, a couple 1-6 teams. These teams have been awful too. ATS, both 2-5, haven't been good at all. And I noticed that Wyoming, even checking days before, I don't go too crazy. We're here on Wednesday. The weather's pretty good. I mean, to take 55 or so, 60 almost, and win just below 10, I think solid in this one. Both teams 5-2 to the over. Now, this is a higher number here on this total for Wyoming, but it's a lot lower as we saw Utah State just score again 95 points on a total that was 78. I don't know how, if Wyoming doesn't move the ball, and why I like this is because I finally have seen them improve on offense, this Wyoming team. I mean, to start the year wasn't very good, really on both sides of the ball, but the offense was a struggle. We're going back to the very beginning where they got blown out at Arizona State, and then against Idaho where they lost, where they only scored 13, they lost 17-13. It was just horrible. But I think the offense is getting going. Even with the loss of San Jose State, they scored 24, they scored 31 against Air Force. This is one where I think the team total was solid for both sides. But at this number, this has moved up. I got a little better number. But I thought if this stays under here, 58, I'm going to roll with it. I have to be on this over. Utah State, dead last defense. All they do, and they finally have let Petras just be the quarterback, and he's played well. He's going to throw picks. That's another thing. Turnovers for both these quarterbacks can be a factor. Pick sixes, shit like that in this game, where they were rotating, the first few weeks with quarterbacks. They didn't know who they wanted. And I just think they get more and more points. Here, SC's the only game they didn't score. Just got blown out, 48-0. SC at probably their best, second week of the season, and even their defense, how they were playing. But 38-21 Utah, 45-29 at Temple, 62-30. UNLV 50-34. That could have been more. They scored 50 at halftime, 45 at halftime. Over. New Mexico just scored whatever it was, 45. Over 57.5. All right. Minus 108.
All right. Over 57.5 here. Minus 108 here. Let me write that down.
What's so funny here in the chat?
Saturated missed the Oregon Illinois breakdown, and we just slandered Illinois the whole time, called them a bunch of bums, fucking said their orange was ugly, and quietly we are on Illinois plus 21.5. They're saturated, so yeah, you just go watch the breakdown. You'll like what you see. Saturated. You'll like what you see. But I like.
Yeah, I think they can hang around in that game. Real quick, but I think Oregon could get theirs as well. If you look at Oregon's team total in that one, and we'll see. And I think the back door could be open for sure in that game with Oregon. And Oregon's just gotten up, sat on it. I mean, no one's gotten slower in the second half of the lead than Oregon. Hang teams around, and I've cashed on it once or twice. Definitely the Michigan State I did. So I think that could be open.
Okay,
yeah, he could be.
By the way, a quick market update. On the total here. You're over sharp action here, Connor. 22% of the bets, 67% of the money on the over in this game. So, like that look. Over 57.5, you said?
57 was actually, sorry.
57
108.
Beautiful there. All right, 57,108.
And hit what was going on here. So you like YouTube, we have to just use the American books.
Yes.
Tell me a bit about this real quick.
Yeah, so we are officially in partnerships, and I think it'll be official after today. I have a meeting here in about an hour.
Okay.
But yes, we are officially partnering with American Legal Books, and legally, they do not want their name associated with any offshore books, so we cannot mention them while promoting legal onshore books, unfortunately, there.
So we'll keep it to them. Our friends at
BetMGM, FanDuel, etc. By the way, the link is in the description right now. You guys can check it out. It's Vault Sports, blah, blah, blah. And you guys can see all of our deals that we have with those legal books. If you don't have an account with an MGM, for example, go sign up today. Help out the pub, etc., etc. We would appreciate that very much. But let's talk about this game here real quick. Well, not real quick, but
real quick with our guy Rance. Yeah, the offense is rough. I mean, if there's any team, this is the worst fucking defense in the country, hands down. Utah State.
Wyoming.
So I just want to throw that.
Oh, okay.
No, Utah State. Utah State, and they should be able to score. Wyoming's defense, I think, but I still think Utah State can get in the 30s. But I mean, I get it. I mean, how can they not score here? Come on. And there's been some big overs in this matchup in years past. Not last year, but we've had some high-scoring ones where you'd think it'd be a lot, where Utah State wasn't this bad, where they didn't give a shit ton of points. But let's roll on.
Let's roll on to a showcase matchup here today. And a line I was really surprised at, admittedly. Maybe I'm just drinking the Kool-Aid for the service academies, but 13 points seemed a little excessive here to me. I was shocked to see it. 24-ranked Navy. Army also is ranked here. There have been nice stories going through the season, but now they face a big boy team in Notre Dame here. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, Connor, correct me if I'm wrong. We're still running the triple option as well, so maybe this is just a better athletes situation when we're playing these big teams. Army and Navy both very much in contention to make the playoffs as well. So this could be a nice little, maybe you call it a tune-up game, but it's definitely a resume booster for Navy, to say the least here. But like I said, this line surprised me of how big it was. 53% of the bets, 57% of the money on Notre Dame here. And admittedly, I'm not a college football capper lifer. I don't live and die with these. That's why I have my lovely guest on screen with me. When you open this line at 13 and a half, it did go down to 11 and a half, 12 to 12 and a half at one point. So sure. But it got back up. It's back up to 13. I just tend to think I believe in the market, or not the market, I guess the lines makers. And I trust them here to think that Notre Dame is going to whoop that ass. So I lean Notre Dame, even though my first gut instinct was, wow, this is a lot of points for Navy, especially at home. But what do you think here, Connor?
And not at home here. This is at MetLife. This is a neutral game here.
Where is Navy's campus?
Did you just say that?
I don't know where Navy's campus is.
Okay. Someone just, holy shit balls.
Is it close to New York? I don't know.
Wow. It's not that far. Wow. I can't believe you just said that. Wow. All right, let's get to this game. My shit's all fucked up here. Valley Mal, what up?
Thank you, Billy.
Crazy. I can't believe you just said that. All right, let's get to Notre Dame. Another big win. Georgia Tech, obviously, without Haynes King last week in that game. They shut down the running attack for Georgia Tech in that one. And they gave up some late, passing yards, but they were already up 269, which has been weird because Notre Dame's been dominant, the defense against the pass, basically best in the country almost against it. And they've been able to give up some yards here versus the run. And that's where I want Navy in this one. There's a case. This Notre Dame team is a lot better. Riley Leonard's finally looking a little bit healthier. in this one. I still don't think the offense is dynamic in any way, shape, or form at all. The offensive line, dealing with all those injuries from early on the season, is getting better, and you're starting to see it. Navy on the other side in this game. This team is super slow, but they've scored so many points. These games have gone over. I couldn't mess with the total. This could stay under because of Notre Dame's defense, which Notre Dame totals at times. I've been on a few of their unders. They've cashed, and they're almost dead last in their pace here and plays per game is Navy. But all their games have gone over. 6-0 to the over. Just been really, really good. Horvath's been great. This team in this second to dead last, 132nd strength of the schedule. That's the shits. That scares the living shit out of me in this game. But I think they get it done. I think they stay in this one. I am on Navy here in this game, plus 13.5. I had to take it. This is one, I don't know if it went to 14. We're out doing the show, but I thought at this number, I'll take it. Navy has dogs. The last 25 games, double-digit dogs. And they're not at home, which you hit on MetLife Stadium this game, but 17-7-1. They've been very, very good. And I think they're going to be able to run the ball and have success with Horvath. Can their defense stop Notre Dame? I'm not so sure. That's why I don't know about that, the total here. I just can't mess with it in this game. But similar to Northern Illinois, even though that was at Notre Dame, just both these teams will be up for it. Notre Dame, I talked about a little bit on Monday. These games have been blowouts. I'm going to know right away, or these games have been tight. I was like, just consistently. And these teams know each other well. They play every single year. The game's within 10 points, or Notre Dame blows them out by 40. So I'm rolling with Navy here. I've been on Army a couple times in Navy. This is a whole different area. I talked about the strength of schedule. Notre Dame's has been better. They're not top line, but right around top 50 inside there. They have a few injuries. The secondary's banged up. Safeties, a few linebackers. Obviously, the All-American Morrison is out. Down the line, I think that hurts Notre Dame. I don't know how much in this game, of course, but this is it. 13.5 minus 110.
All right, 13.5 from Mr. Connor Mack. Picks there on Navy plus 13.5 there. Yeah, I kind of lean Notre Dame. I think this is an athletes kind of situation, and I now know Connor, Annapolis, Maryland is not very far from New York, but it's not close either. So
it's not. But Annapolis, you didn't know they were.
No, I had no idea. No fucking idea. No idea.
Well, other than that, this is the big game. That's why you see Navy every 3 or 4 years play up and play Notre Dame tough. And we'll see. Other than Memphis, they haven't played anybody. So
there's no one in the American to play, Connor. There's no one good in that conference now that the beloved UTSA Roadrunners are sucky now, unfortunately. Let's move on here, Connor. Let's go to a big game matchup here. The Oklahoma Sooners, everyone's God's gift to Green Earth. They suck, Connor. And it's fun to watch as a former Oklahoma State guy here. It's fun to watch. But Ole Miss, a team that a lot of us were high on this year, down to 18th, 20.5-point favorites. I think Oklahoma is cooked personally here. I think I keep wanting to call him Brett Pry because of Virginia Tech, but Brett Venables, I did not think was a good coach. I think they need offensive coaches there at Oklahoma, So I don't believe in them, and I think they stink. However, betting public does like Oklahoma here. Pretty split tickets-wise, 49% of the tickets, but 62% of the money on them here. This line opened up at 20.5, got up to 21, came back to 20.5. I don't love laying these huge spreads in general. So if I had to make a bet, I guess it would be Oklahoma in this game. But I don't love it. And 81% of the bets, 97% of the money on the over. Expecting a lot of, I was about to say runs, but a lot of points in this game. Connor, what do you think?
Yeah, I have seen all that, of course, as you say, Jose. I'm on the under here.
Wow.
49 minus 108.
Let your balls in, Connor.
And this has dropped a little bit. It's dropped, not dropping crazy in this game, but it's down, 48.5, 48. This Ole Miss defense is for real. I mean, so far during the year, they have been legit. I mean, it shows in all the numbers. It's just yards per carry, tops, if you just rip through it all, they have been really, really good. 50th overall. I mean, they've just been excellent. Best against the run, 66. I don't know how whoever's playing quarterback is going to do anything for Oklahoma. What I went to initially in this game was Oklahoma's team total. 14.5 under is like minus 150. I'm not taking that. The 13.5 is even money. But you know how it works. They get a defensive touchdown or some bullshit and they score a late one and it goes and you get over. They score 14 points. I can't have that. And just in case that they do, Ole Miss is just not lighting up the field. Oklahoma defense is all right. They've been just all right all year. Like South Carolina, they gave up 35, Texas 34. You know, they've been able to kind of play tough, 25 to Tennessee. And all these games, like Tennessee scored 15. That would just kill me here with that under. But this Ole Miss team, off a bye here, off that shit loss, beats down Oklahoma. Just a bad Oklahoma team. The offensive line is horrible. The QB's running for their life. Turnovers have been dreadful, awful. Ole Miss 1-6 to the under. This was too high at this number. Unless they score 55, I'm fucked. But, you know, I had to take this here. Under 49 minus 108.
All right, beautiful. Under 49 minus 108 there. I understand it. Oklahoma's defense is not it's not the best, but I mean it's literally what Brett Venables is there for. So, you know, if you're gonna expect one of those units to show out, it's probably the defense, if I'm gonna be honest. By the way, did you see the quotes from I believe it was Jackson Arnold that said, like, yeah, I don't wanna blow my red shirt, but if coach needs me to go out there and blah 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 blah. It's so funny to me, Connor, that we've gone from red shirts being horrible and no one wanting them to now when you can get paid for going to college. Give me that fucking red shirt. I need the extra year.
Yo, hell yeah. Just take it and go somewhere else. And especially in one of these schools, the money's there. Then you could go to a smaller school or, mid-type school and do decent as well.
I'm praying every day he transfers.
The Oklahoma defense can hang a little bit, but this right now, which I've just been impressed, like even LSU, which they gave up there late kind of in that game, there was a whole bunch of stuff that went on in that one there, but 15th overall, like I talked about, 66. Against the pass, they've been solid. They've only given up 222, 83rd, but who's horrible? Who can't throw it? The Oklahoma team can't throw it. Yeah. It doesn't matter who's in. Hawkins or Arnold, they're only 176 yards. It's 123rd. I mean, under.
Agreed. Under. I like that look, Connor. Let's keep it rolling here. Texas Vanderbilt. It is still a little weird that this is a conference matchup. I'm not going to lie. But I will start this off by shouting out, and Connor, you're not going to believe who I'm shouting out right now. Shout out to the mighty Ball State for hanging in tough last week with Vanderbilt. Only a 10-point loss. Great defensive backs are coached there. Shout out to Ball State.
Perfect spot. Vandy is a favorite. Yeah. You don't want nothing. They don't want nothing to do with it. I'm just saying.
Exactly. It's a sandwich game, too. They're playing the number one team in the country next week. It was beautiful. Shout out to Ball State. But now they're playing the number one team in the country. We've seen this, kind of story already. Except this time, Texas lost. And by the way, Texas is number 2. Or I forgot what they're ranked now. I still have number 1 on the screen. But
they lost.
Yeah, so they're not number 1 anymore. But they're coming in to face the former number 1 team in the nation. We've seen the script before. I just think this time we're getting a pissed off, angry Texas team coming off their worst performance of the year. And Cab has said this as well. Texas is still a good football team. They just ran into a Georgia football team that is also very good. Both those teams are definitely going to be playoff teams. And, 18.5 points. For once, Connor, I looked at an 18.5 point spread and I was like, this feels kind of light. This feels like it should be 21. I think Texas, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Texas went in there, rolled. I like, there you go, Pavia. I feel like Pavia is the white version of Saint, and Pavia is a little Hispanic twang in there. So shout out to my Hispanic brother Diego there. But yeah, I just don't think that Vanderbilt's going to be able to hold on to this game. Maybe they were looking forward to this game last week, you could tell, but I don't know if they'll be able to hang in. Quickly here, market in this game before I pass it off to Connor here. 59% of the bets and 83% of the money on Texas here. So 41% of the bets and 17% of the money on Vanderbilt does not make me feel good if I'm a Vandy bettor here. This line opened up at 18.5 for Texas. It got up to 19, but has been 18.5 there. Connor, what do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, there was a few I think you hit on, hit up on Wine Time from earlier. There's two games. Bowling Green, I can't get any more of the 3.5s for 2.5s, and the +2, but it's flipped from Dogs Bay. Those are two games that I am on. So I'm just putting that out there. I just don't want to give out a number that I already got to you guys. This is the the spot, right? Texas is just gonna come right back and crush them here, and this is possible. And but I'll take it here. And one more when I got through it. Coaches know each other so well. Was SMU SMU riding so high. And Duke, I worry about their quarterback play, but I think they could hang a little bit there. That was just one other that I haven't bet that I've waited on. I think those teams know each other and coaches know each other so well that they could be live. But here, Texas, after the loss, just the horrible first half. After Georgia hadn't played a good first half, it seems, since 2023, and God knows what, December, wherever, they had been dreadful. And they got pressure on him. Here's the thing. What they're saying, Sark is saying, both quarterbacks he's going to play. I like that. I know both guys have looked really, really good. Those wins were bullshit. No offense. They've looked really, really good. Mississippi State, come on. They didn't cover there. Oklahoma, we talked about how bad Oklahoma is. We talked about how bad Michigan is. These wins were not great. Yeah. And they're a very good football team. This defense is very, very good so far with Texas. They still just gave up 30 to a real opponent in Georgia. I'm a Diego Pavia guy. I've only took him one time. He was on the road at Kentucky. After that was Fade City, and they go and win 2013. Every time he's been a double-digit dog I've been on, dating back to last year when he was at Auburn, when they beat Auburn 31-10. The guy's scrappy, and Vandy's just gotten better. Their defense still isn't great. We can put that out there. But this team moves the ball, and I want that guy behind here. Texas shoves it to me, so be it. Maybe if you like Texas, you'll think they'll come out banging right away for first half. Look at them. But I want the full 60. I want Pavia. This guy as a dog is just cash for me as a double-digit dog, nonstop. +19, -110. Vandy.
Beautiful. Wow. 19 there for Connor, -110. I understand the look. And that is why you are the college football expert and I am not. Connor Mack picks there.
Well, I got to take this here. I got to back it. And we'll see. Texas, obviously, top team in the country, or 2, 3, 4. I don't know if it's so much if they come out, and maybe they do. Vandy's at home. Why not? And that was the perfect, as their favorites, we just said, Jose, to fucking not play him and fade him. Yeah. This is where the role they want. Exactly. They want to rip another goalpost off. Does it happen? Who knows? They win the fucking game. But, I'll take them here.
If they found a way to win this game, it's already the greatest season in Vanderbilt football history, most likely. I couldn't imagine. I simply could not imagine if they did it again. It'd be fucking hilarious. All right, Vanderbilt +19 for Connor. Let's roll on. We have one more game in his best bets, and we'll talk about today's matchups here. But let's talk about UL Monroe, South Alabama. Only the good shit here on Betting with Bouquett. We give you the marquee matchups, but we'll also dive into the filth
and talk about old USA, South Alabama versus Monroe. And what an interesting market this is. Again, 1,600 bets in, not much, but 34% of those bets and 89% of the money on South Alabama here. So it's very interesting that we've gotten that sharp action, big bets on them here. And the other fascinating part about it here, Connor, South Alabama opened up at -8.5. It goes down to 7.5, gets back up to 8, and is now 7.5 yet again here. So fascinating line movement. The sharps are on South Alabama. What do you think?
Yeah, I love this game. There's a couple. Also, I think Georgia State struggled just consistently against App State. That needs a little more digging, but I don't know how App State's favored by 8. And I don't know here. I know South Alabama. They're a solid team. They're 3-4, and they should be to a 5-1 Monroe team who's been awful the last few years, especially last year. But head coach Mark Miller has been great. This guy is a high school football coach that has done well and really has turned this team around. And they're 5-1 ATS. They don't do a ton great, this team, at all. They really don't. They don't throw the ball. Armanietta, though, now is in a quarterback. No more booty. No more booty here.
No,
and he's been good.
So, Connor.
No booty. No, no more booty. But he's been solid here in the 2 wins, 4 TDs, 2 picks. I mean, he's just been solid what he needs to do. Last game he had 188, 2 touchdowns. I think he can do that here. One thing, I think they'll be able to run the ball in this game. South Alabama's defense is not great. I think they can get beat here in this one. This game had just close all over it. They got their ass kicked 55-7 last year at this team, South Alabama. They're coming in here and off a bye. South Alabama, by the way, off the bye, off beating Southern Miss, 38-21. Also Southern Miss coach canned. Horrible fucking team. Southern Miss this year. But off the bye, fresh here. I love them. This total's 45.5. I lean under here, Jose. They're going to drain it. They're a slow team. Monroe, they just are. One thing with South Alabama, but they're skewed because their stats. They scored 87 points against Northwestern State. Whatever. They scored 48 against App State. That's not them. I mean, they really packed on the stats in this one. They're a good football team, and they are at home. I love the 7.5 with UL Monroe. I think they keep this close at least. I'm on plus 7.5, -110, UL Monroe.
All right, +7.
And this is a series that's been good. As Monroe's been bad, South Alabama a little bit better the last few years. Other than that beatdown, these games are always tight, and they have been. And I'll take this Monroe team. I mean, at home, James Madison's had their problems. These teams do. Troy's not good anymore. UAB's dreadful. But South Alabama, I don't think they're very good at all. I think they're solid. And they might win this game, but I think it's close. Field goal type game. I'm on 7.5.
Okay. Beautiful Monroe for Connor Mack picks there.
UL Monroe. That's a fucking dog shit game.
That is a dog shit game, and it hurts my feelings that General Booty is not starting.
I agree.
Anymore.
He's out. He wasn't getting the job done.
Hurts my feelings.
This kid's been good enough. If that's what he'll be all right. He's a sophomore. He's been there a little bit, but I'm sure they're quick. Like it was a Booty to be out. So
yeah.
I gotta be on it. This was slow. The under's really intriguing in this too. But in a game like that's going to be tight, I want these points, and I don't really trust South Alabama, not even at home. Like Troy can't move the ball at all, and they don't have the defense really this year. It's been improving in that 25-9 loss, but not great. So, and I talked about the skewed games and the yards that kind of looked at where like South Alabama's. You got to kind of put that in with what you're looking at because of those huge numbers they put up the first few weeks.
All right. Well, beautiful breakdown, Connor. I appreciate you breaking these games down. I want to quickly throw these games happening today at you.
I would love to talk about some Liberty Kennesaw State. Our guy, Mr. Nutflush Allen, asked earlier, can you let me know what you have on a Liberty team total over? I started the comment. I wrote it down for you, Nutflush. 35.5 this team total over for Liberty. Isn't that crazy? We're getting a 35.5 and the total is 47. They every bit of the points here coming from Liberty, apparently. It would make sense. They're 26-point favorites here. Quickly going to the market here on this game happening today. 78% of the bets, 88% of the money on Liberty, and for the total, 62% of the bets, 88% of the money on the over in this game. Connor, did you have any thoughts on this game happening today?
Warriors talk put Gio Lopez. Yeah, real quick, too, which helped out South Alabama, even Monroe. The turnover battle's been good for them. +9, ULM +4. So both positive in that regard. I think they're top 20. Monroe's right around top 30 with the +4. So we'll see. He has been excellent. We'll see. I'll take Monroe to get it again. Oh my! This fucking game is ugly. I've taken twice this year Kennesaw State. Let's hit on this to start out with their team total under. It cashed. I think it was UL Monroe or San Jose. I have to double check. But my loss was Jacksonville State. I think it was 14.5. They scored 24. But I don't know how they scored here. They just scored 5 points. I don't know how this team does anything at all. And Liberty should be able to get theirs. We've seen Liberty winning football games just kind of ho-hum. This team is not the same team that was winning and making everyone money covering last year. Like, it was just, you take Liberty, they were kind of like Army or Navy. You've just been bet Indiana. You've been betting them. They've been covering blind in this one. Kennesaw's defense is awful. And for Middle Tennessee to only get 14, I thought was rough. But in some of these games, I guess ULMO 34-31, that's exactly where I see Liberty getting there. So that's right where the lean this team total with Liberty. Like, I think they get right in that range in this game. And Liberty's defense, it's just, what they've given up, they let ECU back in that game. That was the game, I think, with all the lightning and all that bullshit, the delayed 24 to FIU. It was a little different. We saw FIU struggle, but under games, Jose, which I always like to watch as it cashes. And I know a lot of people don't, because it's not sexy, but I do. So I have nothing. I Liberty's team total I thought was really, really interesting. Like I've talked about, Kennesaw State dating back to last year, they didn't break anything like consistently. They lost, but the offense has just gotten worse and worse and worse this year, and I don't know how they get anything done tonight. So Liberty 5-0, 1-4 ATS. Do you want to lay that with them? I just look at the team total. If you really want Liberty, and that's it. I wouldn't go anything else. It was like yesterday, and I'm glad those games like today, Jose, where I looked at it, where I'm trying to find something in a game, but you just stay off because I was looking at props, and I'm like, I don't see points in these games. Like, I don't know how these fucking teams are going to score. And they didn't. So I've got to stay off. So I try to dig into and even some props in this, but I couldn't get there.
So nothing official for you here, not even the under?
No. Yeah, I would lean under.
Yeah.
For sure. That would be the bet. And you start messing with 9.5. That's what I meant with the Kennesaw. Yeah. And they got it late against Jacksonville State. I think they got a couple touchdowns in the fourth. They only had 10 points, I think, if I remember in that game. And of course, Jacksonville State scored 63. We're going to hit up them in a second. But yeah, under. It's the only thing I could look at. Liberty, by the way, their defense has just been ho-hum. But Kennesaw, the court, everything's just been off. To watch that football game, did you see any of it, Jose?
Which game?
The Kennesaw, Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, yes, I remember. I remember it. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that takes football back. Like, I mean, I don't even know what that was awful. I mean, the quarterbacks were awful. Johnson and Bohaney had 2 picks.
And you guys have said all year that Middle Tennessee is one of the worst squads, and Kennesaw State came into the season as the worst D1 team as well.
You know what's one thing though? Like Earl just put, I mean, at 26, Kennesaw might cover that. Just because Liberty's just not done. They haven't. This team hasn't covered a number. They're winning 35-21 or 35-24 or 31-24. Like they're just like not a lot of motivation. It seems like for this Liberty team with Salter and the whole gang, it's kind of ho hum as they beat these teams. So yeah, I'd be leery laying the 26. You know, if you really love Liberty, look at team total.
That's good analysis there, Connor. I liked it here, and let's move on to our final game of the show. I appreciate everyone that stuck around for this 3-hour-long marathon. My dog is about to shit her pants, but we have
3
to
hours,
talk.
Jose.
I know. NBA season, man. The people need their NBA, Connor. Middle Tennessee, Jacksonville State. Middle Tennessee is one of the worst teams in Division I of football, Connor. I have to grab a napkin real quick because I have some mucus on me because of a sneeze. But I'll quickly let everyone know here that our friends at Middle Tennessee, Jacksonville State, 50-50 ticket spread, 65% of the money on Middle Tennessee. Total pretty spread out as well, or excuse me, pretty even. 50-50 ticket flow, 53% of the bets and money on the under in this game. 2 disgusting teams, Connor. What do you think?
Yeah, these are 2 disgusting teams. This is the game where finally out of yesterday's 2 and that one where the under, I think, this could get there in the end. Now, really, I think it's up to Jacksonville State's defense. Like, I mean, they've been able to get almost 50 on their own the last 3 weeks. And the defense has been starting to be better after I thought this defense would be pretty good. It returned like 7 or 8 guys, Jose. Holy shit. They gave up 55 to Coastal right away. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, wow. And they've been a great over team. You know, this year over, 5-1 of the over. Last year they were good to the over. I think this is a game that gets some points in this one. Jacksonville State, if you look, I thought their team total in this one, it's right around 42, I think, 42.5, 43. How can it not get there if you're looking at it? I mean, even in the loss to Eastern Michigan, they got 34. When they play teams, other than stepping up and right away against Coastal, they had 27. It seems like they're getting this consistently, at least to the 40s. And they're going to run it. One thing, though, Jacksonville State doesn't pass the ball, and Middle Tennessee is dreadful, almost deadlocked. They give up 320 yards through the air. Now, they're the shits, too. They're 130 overall. They gave up 167 on the ground, so Jacksonville State shouldn't have a problem in this one. We talked about I missed that prop. It was a beatdown. He didn't get there. He should still have success in this one. Jose, I haven't bet it at all, but there should be plenty of running, fast pace, obviously, with Jacksonville State. And I think they get there. And I think Middle Tennessee could do a little bit. But watching that game when we just talked about Kennesaw, because that's who they played, it's not been good. And the offense, whether it was Memphis or Duke, 7 points, 17. They scored 3. I needed them to just get another field goal in that goddamn game, Jose, against Ole Miss to get the over. And they couldn't do that. I was like, this team's going to score 10 points. Like Ole Miss will give up junk touchdown. No, that didn't happen. So, yeah, if I might move on something in these games. I'll tweet it out. If I move on that under or something in this, I talked about it on Monday. It seems like right there, it's just going to get over, I think, Jose. The team total is 42.5. I want to be below that.
Yeah.
42, because you know what I mean? So, but I think they get right around there. And it'll be a tough day for Middle Tennessee. The quarterback play hasn't been good there either. It's this team's just gone, not that they were great, but it's just gone south this year. It's been a really rough watch. And even with the win last week, it was not easy for him. So that's it.
Okay, well, beautiful breakdown, Connor. Again, follow Connor on Twitter at ConnorMacPicks, and you'll see all the action there when he tweets it out. So beautiful work, Connor. Let me quickly review your action here. Let me know if any lines are messed up or anything here. I have you down for Utah State, Wyoming over 57 minus 108. Navy plus 13.5 minus 110. Oklahoma Ole Miss under 49 minus 108. Vandy plus 19 at minus 110. And the Fighting UL Monroe Hawks Cardinals plus 7.5 minus 110. I call him the Fighting General Booties in my head personally, but I guess he is no longer with us.
It's a great name.
It's a great name indeed. Connor, beautiful work here. Thank you for popping on here. I love doing these Wednesdays with you, and I love your action.
Real quick, add this. We talked about it. I hit this with you, Jose.
Yeah.
Boston College.
Of course.
Gave the shit last week. All the turnovers, you're just horrible. Castellanos can't own the ball. The biggest, not only that, and they come back and lose, they got fucking gashed on the ground. They gave like 350 yards, where the run defense, that's why I was backing them in that game, thinking they could keep it close. I think things could change a little bit, but I love in this matchup, these teams have just scored points. And I know I just had the Louisville over in that one. I'm going to be on here this over, 53.5, minus 110, Louisville, Boston College. I think they have success. This game's at night. I think Louisville will have plenty of success as well. And I think this is a good spot. I'm going to wait. I want a 7.5. I know there's a few out there, I think. It's tough to go back to the team that just shit on you. But I think BC could be alive in this game. We watched Louisville, Miami, and I like Shuck, but there's advantages to them. And these teams just get together and score points. I think we see more of it there. And I looked at the weather, was pretty good. I tried this time of year. It's something you got to look at a little bit more. But I think the weather's pretty good.
I'm saying 53.5 minus 110.
That's fine. Yeah, that'll work. I'm fine with that. This game's going over. Let me see this weather.
All right.
Real
beautiful.
Quick. It's 50 degrees, beautiful weather. Now, and I missed it. I thought Boston College was better. I think they could be around in this game. Like, just laying it with Louisville on the road. I fade them plenty of times. And there are a few 7Fs. I might have a piece of it. It's like minus 120. I'll wait on that, but I'm on the over. Part that down.
All right, beautiful. Anything else you want to plug, Connor, before we get you up out of here?
That's it. Thanks for having me. Long Wednesday show. NBA is back. NHL is back. Yep. I love it. Long days, plenty of stuff.
Busy time for
college football, middle of the week. You gotta love. It's a fucking week. Jose. And another week where I was up, not a ton. I was up only like $250, like half a unit for me at the end of the day. The UNLV game didn't get over by a point. But I need to win. We're going to win. We're going to have a huge week.
Yes, we are. And
that's it. Hitting the books.
Yes.
Go watch it. Give it a like. Give it a subscribe. That's all we ask for. We run through a bunch of the games on Monday. Started out. And go to Connor Mac Picks. Give me a follow. Appreciate all the guys in the chat. Wager Detective, Justin. I know you guys have been here a long time. Andrew G. Coin, my dude. Great to see you. Billy, as always. Wine Time, who I was up here with. Justin McAlee, my man. Hell yeah. Rants. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a minute, Rants. Shout out to my dude, Rants. And everyone in here. Hit the like button on the way out. Shout out. Best chat in the goddamn game, even though it got a little weird today. Saw a little bickering going on, but we love that. We got, a little back and forth. Never hurt anyone, right?
Sure.
Trying to win money here.
Right? Of course. It's all about the money. Beautiful. Connor,
Top
thank you so much.
Dude. Beautiful. I'll be out of here. Peace.
Beautiful work, Connor Mac Picks. Let me quickly recap the plays given out today, all the official plays here, and then I've got to take out my dog to go to the bathroom because she has to go. I will give you guys my looks here as well as Billy's for the NBA. Obviously you guys know me. I'm a very casual NBA bettor. I'm just kind of tailing here. So you guys just let me know, obviously. And I won't be keeping my NBA record. These are very casual bets here. So Bulls +7, and I'm going to parlay that with Zach Edey over 10.5 points there. And I need to get these parlay odds. I need to put them in first so I can get them. Also, I'm going to bet Curry top top point scorer +110 in that game. Another parlay, Bam over a half 3-pointer plus Suns money line there as well. I'm also going to be on that parlay. Washington +6.5, A&M money line, my official plays here today. For our guest, Billy Brisbane, his 2 plays, Cleveland money line and Houston money line -101 there, and Zach Edey over 10.5 points -180. If you want to go back and look at what his top point score parlay is and double parlay, go watch the NBA segment. Again, we talked about that at length. Wine Time Sports is on Illinois +21.5, Wisconsin +7 -115. UCF money line. I keep trying to say UCLA, but UCF money line +110. Washington +7 and A&M money line there -135. Cab came on and told us about A&M. He's on them +2.5 -110. And Connor's picks we just talked about: Utah State over 57, and Navy +13.5. Oklahoma Ole Miss under 49, Vandy +19, UL Monroe +7.5, and Boston College Louisville over 53.5 -110 on that one. Thank you guys all for joining me on this long marathon Wednesday show. These are going to be a lot more typical, I believe, here because we're going to have more games to talk about. So thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you to Jeff, who makes all this possible. And thank you to our friends now, our new friends, FanDuel, BetMGM, all those lovely books. You can go right down to our description, hit that link, and sign up for a new book today. Please do. It helps out Pub Sports Radio a ton. If we can show that we can drive new users to these websites and sports books, it would be very beneficial for Pub Sports Radio's future. So thank you guys as always. Nasty Nate, Wager, Justin, Billy Friedrich, both of you guys getting into it. Good luck to both of you. Billy, my guy, Wager, Coin, Andrew G, Rants, like he said earlier. Nice to see you back in action, Rants. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow. Betting with the Bag returns. We've got horse races. We have the Cappers contest show. So a busy day tomorrow. Till then, say hey, and we'll see you guys next time.